All right. Good evening, everybody. I hope your Tuesday is going well. I'm just doing an impromptu show real quick. Just wanted to talk about this topic here that I saw the other day. Actually, it was yesterday. No, it's today. It was today. Yeah. So this came out today. Shout out to the exiled family on this one who originally broke the news to me. But yeah, I just want to talk about this because I found this truth bomb right here. I think that this will make for good discussion. So, hey, so everybody, for on your Tuesday evening, sit back and relax. If you're having dinner, enjoy your meal, and we're gonna talk some gaming real quick. And hey, Channel, what's up, man? I see you here already, my brother. And Channel, off to a good start, saying, good. Take COD away. Don't be so desperate to be friends, Xbox, and lower your offer. Yeah. And that's actually a very good point, Channel. And let's talk about it. Because today, as this article here reveals, Microsoft offered Sony a 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. And the jackasses at Sony has reportedly turned it down. Now, what does this mean in the bubble? This means that Sony is in the biggest bad faith argument area, however you want to put it, on the planet. All they think, channel, that they're going to stop this Activision deal, and that's just not going to happen. For anybody who's on the side of oh, this is monopoly, or they want this deal shut down, I hate to break your heart, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why we're talking about this so much is because we in the gaming community, this is the first time we in the gaming community has had insight into such massive deal like this, because buying publishers is such a new phenomenon in the gaming world, right? This is the Bethesda deal is our first time experiencing publishers being purchased at this level by a console maker, to this extent. And so all this is new to us. All this just kind of feels like, oh, why is it dragging on? This and that. Why we keep talking about this and that? That's because this is just normal protocol as far as I'm concerned. Regulators are going to look to it. They're going to determine if it follows all rules, laws, and all this stuff, and they're going to give it the okay by next summer. And Microsoft is going to own Call of Duty. What is crazy is this idea that Sony is trying to force Microsoft to give give them Call of Duty rights as a lifetime thing. That's just not going to happen. And Sony is being just crazy difficult. And I think, you know what? I even think that Sony doesn't even think that's going to happen. This is at this point just a stall tactic, right? And Channel said, trying to cry broke the Xbox to get a lower deal. Give them the bare bones release again. Then, yeah, exactly, Channel, exactly. Um, Look, man, Sony is doing themselves no favor by essentially biting the hand that's going to be feeding them, right, Channel? Because Microsoft clearly is going to have all the power in this deal. And what Sony's trying to do is they're trying to exercise what little potential power they have left. They're trying to exercise it to its fullest, but it's not going to work. And it's not going to work because they're not the one dropping $70 billion on this deal. They're not the one they're not the ones who's going to have to fix a broken culture at Activision that led to an unfortunate death of a female coworker there, right? There's more to this Activision deal than just Call of Duty that Sony is trying to narrow this down to. And Dirt Gritty, thank you for the $5. It said, by the way, check out Dirt Gritty's channel. He had a great show Monday. And he's always releasing great stuff, man. His show is absolutely fire. And I kind of went in on some people in your comments too, Dirt, because they were saying some pretty foolish stuff. And Dirt Gritty here say it's crazy that the almighty PlayStation is scared of competition. Yeah, man. And they're scared, Dirt, because they know that they don't have a leg to stand on, man. It's so clear they don't have a leg to stand on here. What are they going to say? We just spent the last 8 years, Dirt, hearing stuff like they're 100 million consoles sold. We're the biggest thing in gaming. Our exclusives are the greatest games in history. And yet one game, Dirt, now all of a sudden, fast forward 2 years later, since the end of the last generation, one game I'm supposed to believe is this big death nail in their coffin that's just so unfair right? Just so unfair that they got to do everything in their power to stop Microsoft for putting one video game franchise on Game Pass. That's they're so I mean that's scared. That's scared right there. That's a level of scared I've never even heard of. And what's crazy is that Microsoft has even said, Dirt, they're okay with extending the deal. What they're not okay with, and they're not going to do, is give them some type of exclusivity content forever. That's just not going to happen. Having these stupid barriers where Call of Duty can't be put on Game Pass when Microsoft is going to own Call of Duty is so stupid that it's I gotta think Microsoft finds it insulting. They have to find it insulting, Dirt and channel and crew that this company, this little Sony company, is over here trying to make demands for all product. No, no, no. That would be like if Dirk Griggity came to my house and told me and told me to turn off the lights. I'm paying my electric bill. Go fuck yourself. And obviously, I don't literally mean to fuck yourself to Dirt, but you get what I'm saying. It's like go fuck yourself, man. You don't come to my house and tell me what to do. I pay the bills in my house. I pay the bills on my car. I pay the bills here. And that's kind of the deal with Microsoft. They're going to be the ones owning Activision. They're the ones dropping the $70 billion for them. And it's insanity that Sony's going to sit there and try to make demands as if they're the ones in the driver's seat. You're not, Sony. You're not. And Channel here said, I hope Xbox doesn't just bow down to get friends. If they're broke, get some IPs off them. Yeah, exactly, Channel. I'm okay. Listen, after all this, it will be nice, Channel, to see Xbox play Sony's game. Throw that back at them because Microsoft are the ones in the driver's seat. Now, with that said, as an Xbox fan, you just got to be patient. Just let this process go because I'm telling you guys, all the stuff is normal. The Activision deal is going to go through. There's no worry about that, right? So just let everything go through, Channel, and then watch Xbox move after they officially own Activision. I think that's going to tell a lot. I think it's going to tell a lot when the day that deal's finalized. I guarantee, Channel, Matt Booty, Phil Spencer, and all them, they're gonna go on stage or they're gonna do some type of video and they're gonna say stuff like, "Yeah, we're gonna have exclusive content to Xbox and Game Pass from Activision. We're gonna let devs make this, and that. We're gonna change the culture. It's gonna open everybody's eyes to the plans of what they're gonna do. And yeah, that's gonna include at first Call of Duty still on PlayStation on that, Dantes. But I guarantee that they're going to have Call of Duty on Game Pass. That's going to be at the crux of it. And let's not forget, they also talk about the mobile aspect of it. Now the reason why we don't talk about the mobile aspect of all this is because I don't think any of us here are big time mobile gamers. I know I'm not. I can the closest to mobile gaming I do is that I occasionally use XCloud and all that stuff. That's as close to mobile gaming as I get. But at the end of the day, after a long day's work, I'm kicking on my couch and gaming on the Xbox Series X. And I have a feeling most people that's watching this and that follows this hardcore are console gamers as well, like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't want neck. No, we don't. No, we don't. In terms of listen, so I have a PlayStation 5, and I gotta tell you, so far the two games I've liked from them was Spider-Man, and that includes the remaster to Miles Morales, and the God of War 3 remaster from like 2010. I gotta say, I don't even know what we take from them really. If anything, if Microsoft were to ever get PlayStation Games channel, it'll just be some type of dick measuring contest thing, if you will. That's how I see it, at least. And as somebody who owns both consoles, I don't even know what I'd want. Probably just Spider Man, since I love my superhero games, man. You know me, I'm the superhero guy. This gaming stuff, man. Love them type of games, right? So it'll probably just be Spider Man. And I'll be cool. I don't want Horizon. Horizon sucks, and then Aloy never shuts the fuck up. So let me tell you, that game is overrated garbage. Where every single step you take, she's got to narrate the thing, like it's a movie or something, and then she's got to oh well, maybe if I plug this in, it'll get it start working and all this other crap. And people are bitching about God of War Ragnarok spoiling puzzles. Horizon Forbidden Entertainment is 1,000 times worse because she does not shut up at all. Facts. Yeah, exactly. Dirt. Let's see. Daddy's boy said, I always feel like this deal is 50-50 on what happens. There are signs pointing anything can happen. If I was both sides, I would be nervous. No, I respectfully disagree there, Daddy's boy. I actually think it's more like 90-10 in the favor of Xbox is going to go through. I just don't see a world where this is turned down. I just don't see it happening. There's been plenty. We've seen plenty of other big acquisitions out. In both of and outside of entertainment, in the tech world, and other facets. That has also come under scrutiny during its time before it was officially approved. I think it's going to be the same here. I'm not worried at all. The only thing that I do like talking about here, um, Daddy's boy, is this: the fact that Microsoft offered Sony a 10-year deal. They're like, okay, cool. They originally offered them 3 years. They turned that down. Mike says, okay, cool. I'll work with you, man. I don't mind. Give you 10 years. Sony's turning that down. Now, in what world, what position does Sony have to make these demands? Because because the only possible thing here is maybe stalling this nonsense out at worst, and then it'll be approved next summer, and then oh well, okay, so you stalled it a few months. It's not going to matter since it's going to get approved anyway. And Chandler here said if Sony's too broke to afford COD, shouldn't have paid out to Marvel. Yep, yep. And what's funny, Channel, is just that Sony has Sony listen has Sony I don't understand how anyone could come out of this thinking highly of Sony, right? They have looked so bad in this because they're seeing stuff that even their fans aren't taking hard, right? Hold on, give me a second. Like their fans, if you listen to the if you listen to like the fans, they believe with their heart, Channel, that Sony could just bring back Killzone or something, and it's going to be just as competitive with Call of Duty. And yet Sony keeps saying no, no. There's nothing we could do that could compete, right? I just find it funny that stuff like this is being ignored, where Sony's just time after time after time saying what nobody wants to hear, and sometimes it feels like that we're the only ones who's sitting back and listening to what both sides are saying. At this point, Office is going on vacation. No one will make it. Oh yeah. Of course, 100. Of course, 100. That's what I'm telling people, especially Xbox fans. 100. Just be patient. Just be patient. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the roller coaster. Because you know what? Because sometimes it does get tiring talking about this Activision shit. But when news like this comes out, where Microsoft offered a 10-year deal and Sony still turns it down, I think it makes for good discussion. I don't mind talking about new news that comes out. The only thing I don't want to talk about 100 is that stuff like how every single week Phil Spencer's asked the same question every week. What are you going to do with Call of Duty? And he's answered the same thing since January. I don't need to report 6 million times that he's said that they want to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. They've been saying that for 11 months now. Channel said Xbox is profitable. They don't need measly cut from Sony and Call of Duty. Yeah. Hey, man. One of my favorite Phil Spencer moments. I got to pull that one up because I was man. Remember, um, remember what he said after they got Bethesda. How he said, what is that? He said, no, we don't need Sony. After they got Bethesda, he was like, nah, man, we don't need Sony, man. We don't need Sony's money. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it was around this time, man, where he was like, "Hey, man, we don't need to put games on other platforms." Now, to be fair, $7.5 billion is a lot different than 70. So okay, the numbers are, there's a lot more invested in Call of than Activision, I should say, because remember, Activision doesn't just include Call of Duty, and it includes Blizzard King, all their IPs, tech, um, and all that stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and make it that it's 100% apples to apples, but I did find it. I did always love this. How Phil just said, "Nah, we don't. We could recoup our money back with Bethesda," and the same will probably apply to the Activision. Daddy's boy said Sony taking advantage of them being number one gaming company in this situation. Them folks are arrogant. Yes. And their arrogance has led to this weird entitlement, Daddy's boy, that part of me, I'm kind of like 50-50 on this. I find the arrogance of Sony right now both fascinating and frustrating. Fascinating in the sense that they have the gall to sit here and they're trying to boss Microsoft around on a deal that they have nothing to do with. If that's the case, Microsoft should just be like, all right, do this, and this with Destiny and Bungie, right? But they ain't gonna do that because they don't need to do that. But yeah, so I find that part fascinating, and it's frustrating because because we all know that at the core, Sony ain't comparable to Microsoft. They just aren't. And they could brag about all the numbers they want. They could brag about all the sales they want. But at the end of the day, we know where their two parent companies stand, and as a result, we know that Sony and PlayStation financially isn't comparable in the same stratosphere as Microsoft and Xbox. Sorry, I know some of you don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. The only reason why we talk about Sony and Microsoft in the same sentence is because they're both in the gaming community. They're both in gaming. That's it. That's the only reason why we ever compare them to. Hey, what's up, Apollo Cooper, man? Thank you for joining on this Tuesday night. I'm just gonna hang out for a little while, talk about this here. I think it makes for good discussion, and then we're gonna go back to enjoying our holiday because out down. I don't know where a lot of y'all are from, but in the U.S. it's Thanksgiving week, which means many of us are gonna be busy with family on Thursday, Friday, particular. Well, probably Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. For some of them, they're already picking up family and stuff. My family ain't getting here till tomorrow, so I'm good. Channel said, stubborn and proud Japanese culture. Heard that new Pokemon is a technical mess, but Nintendo is arrogant too. Yeah. Yeah. In terms of Pokemon, look, man, listen, I was a kid. I was there during the Pokemon craze of the late 90s. It blew up in like 1998, right? In 1998, Pokemon just blew the fuck up. And for like a good 3 or 4 year stretch, Pokemon was the hottest thing on the planet, man. And you couldn't escape it. And I used to like the Pokemon games. I had a Game Boy Color with Pokemon Red and eventually Gold, Silver, and Crystal and all that stuff. So I was a Pokemon fan at its beginning, but Pokemon has not aged well, in my opinion. When I see these new Pokemon games, and the crazy thing about the new Pokemon games, they don't even look good as other Switch games, which that part blows my mind because I'm probably one of the few people that would be hard on Nintendo, but Zelda Breath of the Wild, massive open world. It's a feat of technical engineering for Nintendo. Excuse me, for a Nintendo game. I heard good things about Xenoblade Chronicles being a good series from Nintendo. And then you look at Pokemon, and it's like, yeah, this series peaked in like 2002, and and right now, them games just to me, not only are they not good, they just seem just so boring too. And then for me personally, channel, the worst thing your game could be is just boring. If your game isn't fun, I can't give you a pass on it. Won't even surrender to their customers. Yeah, yeah. Hey, what's up, the Legend 350 man? Thank you for joining. you know, um, yeah. So I'm just doing one of my impromptu shows here. Hang out with you guys for a little bit. So feel free to chat. Feel free to interact. Where I can interact with the comments when it's just me here. A lot easier to do that. I love talking with you guys. But the main point of today's show is definitely about how Microsoft offered Sony a 10-year deal on Call of Duty, and Sony denied it. And Sony denied it out of this arrogance of they think that they could bully Microsoft into keeping the game there forever. And Microsoft isn't going to budge, and nor should they budge, right? There is no reason whatsoever to give Sony what they want in this deal. Not you don't pay $70 billion for the status quo. Channel said, Best got the Knights. How's that go? Oh, Yeah, I beat it too. I think he meant beat it. Yeah, I beat Gotham Knights. Listen, I'm gonna let you guys know, man. Gotham Knights gonna be my game of the year, and I know a lot of people didn't like. I know reviewers hated the hell out of it. I don't care. I love that damn game, and I played as Nightwing. That's who I played as first, and then after I beat it, I went and played as the other characters. So I can lock their abilities and all that stuff too. Eventually, I'm gonna do New Game Plus, so I could so I could get some of the other stuff because you could get to level 40 max and all that stuff. And then next week they're releasing a multiplayer. I just forgot what the multiplayer is called, but there's going to be a new multiplayer for like where all four you guys you could have four people team up and play together on Gotham Knights, and that should be good too, man. But yeah, Gotham Knights, man, it gets myself approval. Love that game. Love it, love it, love it. And and yeah, man, and oh yeah, that's right. The other topic that I wanted to talk about here. Jim Ryan denies Sony is misleading regulators over Xbox Activision Blizzard deal. This kind of ties into what I said earlier, right? Right. And and that I see why people call him lying Jim Ryan, because this is the same guy who says stuff like we believe in generations, only to turn out all these PlayStation 5 games are on are on PlayStation 4. And let's see, Channel said R.I.P. Kevin Conroy. No, he didn't do the voice of Batman in Gotham Knights. He only did them for the Arkham games. He did them from the Arkham game. And even then, he didn't do the voice for Arkham Origins. He did it for Asylum, City, and Night. And yeah, man, big rest in peace to Kevin Conroy. That's the Batman I grew up with too, man. Look, listen, I was a little kid when Batman, the animated series first came out, and that was like 1992, and it was kind of loosely based off the Tim Burton movies. But I think that the legacy that cartoon had was even bigger than the Tim Burton movies, because people don't realize villains like Mr. Freeze, the reason why we see Mr. Freeze the way as we do now in Batman lore is because of that cartoon. Because Mr. Freeze was like a goofy villain, right? And then the cartoon gives him this tragic backstory. And yeah, man, and he was a big part of that, man. His voice acting is the definitive Batman voice, in my opinion. And we've had a lot of Batmans over the decades, and some good like Kevin, some bad like Christian Bale's version of Batman. But it's the unfortunate part of life, man. It's the unfortunate part of life. But yeah, let me get back on topic here about Jim Ryan denies Sony misleading regulators. Because does anybody believe this? Maybe the most diehard PlayStation fans sit there, see this, and like, yeah, he's telling the full truth. Is he? Is he when PlayStation has time and time again went behind Sony's back? Give me a second here. No, I'm gonna send it to you. Hey, sorry about that, everyone. Just had a phone call here in the middle of the show, and that's the one negative about solo shows, man. When something comes up, you can't have anybody come and take over, right? But hey, yeah. So let's see. But yeah, like I was saying, man, Jim Ryan. Yeah, come on, man. You tell me he denies misleading Sony regulators. Come on now, Jim. Uh, and you know what it is? They're trying to play this whole "woe is me" thing, right? They're trying to play this whole "woe is me," where we're supposed to feel pity for them, we're supposed to feel bad for them. That Sony, the way Sony's acting this generation is just so sad and pathetic. When Xbox was at their low, they didn't start doing stuff like, oh, but we're just Xbox. We haven't been in consoles as long as Sony, this and that. They took their lickings when the whole world hated them, and they rebuilt. They rebuilt the brand and got better, right? And yet with Sony, with Sony, man, it's just they're just coming off so weak and whiny, in my opinion, where they sit here and they just keep crying to these regulators. This was blowing my mind, channel, and all my viewers there. They sit here and they whine. They're in public. Publicly, they try to act like the big dog. Oh, we're Sony. Oh, we sold 25 million PlayStation 5. This and that. Oh, look at our bangers. And then in private, with these countries regulators, oh, we're Sony. We can't compete with Call of Duty. We can't do this. We can't do that. And it's so sad and it's so pathetic. You know, I never really respected Sony in a long time, anyways. But this is just going out sad when you have to pit so hard against Activision deal, and it isn't obvious you're misleading. And yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, channel. Jim Ryan flew. What do you do? He flew to Brussels, I believe, right, to try to stop this deal. For what are American companies at their heart. Let me pull it up here. Ah, here it is. Here it is. Look at this, man. Look at this. PlayStation boss allegedly flew to Brussels to voice concern over Microsoft Call of Duty deal. Again, one video game. See, here's my thing, channel. If your console was so great, if your company was so amazing, then one video game, one you don't even own, should not be this detrimental to your business plan. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't under any fathomable way be this so destructive that you're doing stuff like this. This is what we've dealt with all year, and I don't blame people who got sick of hearing talking about it. Right, I don't, because this is what we got all year for Sony. This pathetic stuff like this, flying to Brussels to voice concerns, saying they can't compete with Call of Duty, this just comes off so neutered and weak, and yet and yet this is the same company that wants to sit there and pretend that oh, we're the top dog in gaming. We're the number one platform in gaming. Hey man, we learned last generation sales don't matter. And if this doesn't prove sales don't matter, I don't know what does. The Japanese exec should tell crying Ryan to have some homeland pride. Yeah, but Ryan ain't from Japan. He's from the UK, somewhere in the UK. And I knew where. I just forgot off the top of my head. Right. So he don't have Japanese pride. He got. I don't want to say English cowardice because I don't think the English are cowards. But yeah, but he certainly is acting like one with this Activision stuff. I mean, there's no way in hell uh, that listen. If Phil came out and said stuff like oh man, we can't compete with Sony's first party games, so we're not even going to try. The Xbox community would be furious at Phil, and we'll end up listing a bunch of games they could make. Oh man, but you got a Starfield, you got a Fable, you got Hellblade. What do you mean you can't compete with their single player games, right? And they'd be absolutely right. And here's another thing that just kind of hit my head, right? Sony is thrown in the towel without even trying. People could say that, oh, Microsoft is buying publishers. At least when everybody spent a generation telling them Xbox has no games, Microsoft went out and did something, and I respect that. I respect that when the chips are down, when people are saying you have a deficiency, you go out and do something. And I don't care that Microsoft didn't do it the way you wanted them to do. I don't care that Microsoft didn't just form a bunch of new studios like the Initiative from the ground up and are make a bunch of studios that are making their first game ever. No, they use what was one of their benefits, their wallet, and they got publishers. Cool. And as an Xbox fan, we're gonna benefit. Sony, we're poor. Also, Sony, fly anywhere you want, Jim. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. This is wild, man, and we should be having a guest join us soon enough. Let me see something here. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Jim Ryan. Sony's something else, man. Sony's something else. But yeah, this news here, this news is just absolutely fascinating to me. When I saw that Microsoft offered them 10 years for Call of Duty, I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm not gonna lie. And I know a lot of Xbox fans get mad at Microsoft for stuff like this because they feel like that this is being weak in them. But I just see it as business. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft has they drew a line in the sand, and that line in the sand for Microsoft is we're not giving you lifetime of a lifetime contract with Call of Duty to where you're not going to we're never going to not put Call of Duty on PlayStation. We're never not going to have exclusive content for Call of Duty that we own. That's the line in the sand they drew. And they've made it clear time after time after time since January that we're willing to work with you, Sony. We're willing to work with you even at the detriment of our public perception with a lot of gamers and Xbox fans outside of me. That doesn't really bother me. But we're going to work with you. And Sony is saying no, 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 no. At this point, Microsoft is clearly just going to throw their hands up and say, "Cool, you don't want to work with us? All right. Once the deal's over, you get nothing." That's all they got to do. Especially once this passed. Once this deal passed, just go scorch earth on them. Cool. You don't want to accept any of our deals. All right, you get nothing. Once the deal's up, we have no obligation with Call of Duty to you whatsoever, and you're just gonna have to reap the consequences. And I first one will not feel the least bit sorry for Sony once that happens. And Chandler said, "Why do we act like every studio Sony buys is a poor indie? What about Insomniac?" Yeah, uh, Channel. Most of the studios people praise about Sony they purchased. All right, so it's just a dumb narrative. It's one of them dumb narratives, Channel that people came up with, because they want to use it against Microsoft. And once you use the slightest bit of thought, it doesn't work. Listen, everything I'm saying is a Google search away, right? Excuse me. Everything I'm saying is a Google search away. If you don't believe me that Sony purchased most of their studios, just Google it. Just Google when they purchased Insomniac or Guerrilla Games or the guys who made The Last of Us, Naughty Dog, right? Channel said at best, give Sony the inferior call like the 360 did and with the generation. Yeah, yeah. And funny thing you're saying there, Channel. Um, that's something. That's something. That Sony is worried about. Actually, that's something Sony is worried about. Is the Microsoft releasing an inferior version of the game. Hey, Tuck Master, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, nothing
Are you
much.
at or you at home?
Yeah, I'm at home.
Can you sit on my Facebook?
Oh yeah. I'll send it to you there. Give me
Okay.
give me just a second here, man.
All
Yeah,
right.
but we're live, man, and I'm gonna get you to talk about all this mess that's going on today that you brought to my attention. So credit to our brother Tuck Master.
Oh man.
All right, man, I
Oh,
sent it to you.
okay. 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 I got it right there. Let me see. Man, I'm telling you, man, this is I just cannot. I'll be right there in a minute, man. I'll be right there in a minute.
All right. Yeah, hey man, and Tuck Master joining us real quick. And I have a feeling I know where he's gonna go with this, but for me, hey man, whatever happens, happens. And Microsoft has no obligation to Sony in any shape or form. It's going to be the same thing we saw with Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. The moment those games, the moment those games
What
are,
is it? Let me close it down. Let me close it down.
yeah,
Okay, I'm back.
All right, cool. Yeah, the moment those games, Ghostwire, you remember the moment Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop are done with their stupid contracts with Sony, they came to Game Pass, and we're going to see something similar here. And Tuck Master, man, thank you for joining me. I know that this was super impromptu, and I know I just threw this together last minute, but as always, it's always a pleasure to have you, man. What's up?
Man, let me tell you, man. Who else with us tonight?
Right now, just me and you. Anybody else who ends up coming in, I'll just let them in as they come.
Okay, you give Hebot, you give him an invite.
Yeah.
Okay, man, I tell you right now, man. I tell you right now, I'm gonna say and tell you the truth.
Hmm.
These regulators and all that stuff, if they don't see what Microsoft is doing, Microsoft is doing all the right stuff. They have went through every agreement that they have done with these games that they already had contract with Sony already
Yep.
before they bought them out. So what more do you need? Really, what more do you need? They offer you a 10-year contract. You don't want that.
Hmm.
You don't want that because we know what you want, but you ain't gonna get it. And Xbox better not play that. Microsoft better not give in to them either. Microsoft do not need to give in to them no more than what they done.
Yep.
That man, a 10-year agreement. So is that a 10-year agreement on top of the agreement that Activision gave them?
No, 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 no. Well, from my understanding, they originally offered them 3 years. Sony turned that down. Then they offered them 10 years, and Sony turned that down as well. And like I was saying earlier, Tuck, Microsoft clearly drew a line in the sand here, and that line is we're not giving you some crazy deal where you reap the benefits forever. That's just not going to happen.
No,
Microsoft has clearly said we're willing to work with you, even at the detriment of our public perception, right? Because a lot of Xbox fans don't like that Microsoft do stuff like this, and they're still willing to work with Sony, and Sony isn't. So my thing is, Tuck, since Sony clearly isn't willing to work with them, the moment this deals come through, I'm taking all deals off the table. I'm just saying you reap whatever benefits happens once these deals end.
well, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that with you all the way right there. I mean, this just don't make any doggone sense. I mean, you give them a 10-year, dude. You give them a 3-year agreement on top of the agreement that Activision already gave you. So
Mm-hmm.
that was gonna be 6 years right there.
Yep.
Okay, then they're gonna give you a 10-year agreement, and I think that'd be with the 3-year agreement that Activision gave them, right?
What was that?
So that would be with the 3-year agreement that Activision gave them already, right? So that'd be a 13-year deal.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm like, darn, what more do you want?
They want two things. They want Call of Duty to never go to Game Pass, which is just so stupid to even say that I can't believe Sony trying to fight that. And two, they're trying to get this weird. They're trying to get Microsoft to bend over and give them some lifetime deal where only they reap the benefits from Call of Duty. Which again, that's not going to happen because Microsoft didn't drop $70 billion for the status quo.
That's right. That's right. And the thing about it is, and then I'm hearing that the TFC, they said that they're going to try to sue Microsoft. Man, please. I wish they would. I mean, heck, that ain't going nowhere. I mean, that's a waste of money.
Yeah.
That's just a waste of money because you don't have to. I mean, hey, you mean tell me? I mean, Sony's so deep into y'all pockets that you can't see what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, please. I mean, the thing about it is, man, Mike, right now, Microsoft got it going on, and and Sony don't. And they know if it come to, and like I told my friend that today, he didn't want to believe that. He said, well, we still out, we will still be out beating y'all on the console. Says I said, dude, look like this. When that agreement drops and Microsoft can put it on the Game Pass, you're gonna see all that money that Sony's making this year.
Mm-hmm.
The next couple of years is gonna be swindling down. Because if you don't think that people do not want to go with the Game Pass, you're crazy.
Oh yeah, see that's Sony's fear right there. And channel said Xbox is so scared to have banner ponies they sided against you. Oh well, yeah, yeah, that's how I feel. Channel, you know, just let things be. Just let things be as they are. You know, Sony has no obligation. I mean, Microsoft has no obligation to Sony outside of whatever contracts that will be expiring once they purchase Activision. That's about it. And Tuck,
Yeah,
go ahead, Tuck.
yeah, like you said, that's about it. Oh, and there's another thing I want to talk about too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these little sales that supposedly God of War is dropping a bomb, but they only sold like, I think when I talked to Hebot,
Mm-hmm.
they've only sold like 3.5 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that telling you? Just like we said, people is not gonna go out there and spend $70
Mm-hmm.
on a single narrative game that they're not gonna have any repercussions. I mean, anything on in the next couple of years.
Right.
I mean, dude, I don't know.
Well, listen, as our brother Other Zinc always says, Sony games don't make that extra money that Microsoft games does because you just
No,
buy it once and that's it. Now, if the 3.5 million sales is true, that's pretty good for its first weekend. I still will guarantee it didn't make $1 billion in 10 days like Call of Duty did. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee Sony would get rid of God of War in a heartbeat if they had Call of Duty's money in 10 days for an exclusive. I
oh,
know that
you
was
ain't never
certainty.
lying.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, but with that said, if it sold 3.5 million, that's cool. No, I don't. I listen, Tuck. I ain't gonna sit here. Listen, I could listen, Tuck. I could sometimes be a little bit like Microsoft in the sense that I don't need to continually bag on Sony because I'm just gonna let them shoot themselves in their own foot. So if they're gonna sell 3.5 million with God of War, that's cool with me. I'm still not gonna play the fucking game because I didn't like 2018. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
And it's the same, and it's pretty much the sequel to the same thing. So, and I know it's not going to do anything revolutionary to change my mind anyway. So it could sell. Listen, I don't even like Call of Duty, and that's the biggest damn, and that's the best selling game for 15 years in a row. So you think I'm going to bend over and say, "Oh, good job, God of War," for a game I really don't give a fuck about? No, man, no.
Man, I'm telling you, man, it's jacked up, man. I mean, I'm like, okay, so Microsoft's gonna give them a 10-year deal
Yep,
and they're
yeah.
gonna turn it down.
That is a level of arrogance I don't understand. Sony is really trying to sit there, Tuck, like they're the ones in the driver's seat, and yet, and here's the thing, and I was telling Channel and the rest of the people that were watching at the time this, I just find it so weird, Tuck, that Sony publicly is like, oh, we sold 25 million consoles, this and that, we got the best exclusive, and then privately, Tuck, they say things like Sony believes there's no way they can compete with Call of Duty. Jim Ryan is flying out to Brussels to try to stop this Microsoft deal. And something's not adding up in my world, right? Something's not adding up where in one hand, Sony tries to put out that they're this big bad gaming company. On the other hand, one game franchise is apparently going to destroy them if it goes to Game Pass. That's nonsense.
Well, I play this. I think the way that Call of Duty, I think the way that Sony feels about it
Mm-hmm.
is that really tell you the truth. I mean, let's just put it like this. I mean, they know if Call of Duty do come to the Game Pass, I'm sorry, the game is over
Yeah, and
because
that's their
they're gonna be losing too much money. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll be and if I was on thin ice like Sony is right now, I mean, they spend all they doggone time not really caring about gaming at all. I mean, I'm sorry, Nintendo don't care about gaming.
Mhm.
Sony don't care about gaming. If they cared about gaming so much about gaming that when Microsoft did this thing with the Game Pass a long doggone time ago, when they came with that idea a long doggone time ago,
Mm-hmm.
They probably. I mean, I thought they should have joined with them then, because because just think about it. With how many developers we lost last generation.
Mm-hmm.
We lost a lot of developers last generation, and Microsoft is trying to keep the the people happy,
All right.
and that's what we want. But some of these people, and I'm serious. Some of these people are so selfish. They just want to play their only narrative games, and that's it. They don't want to give any other game a try. I'm sorry, but they don't. I mean, as long as they got Call of Duty, as long as they got football, as long as they got basketball, as long as they got, they picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they want. But look at this. Let me ask you this: how long have that doggone Sony Game Pass been out?
Since June.
Okay, since June. Okay, they already lost over 2 million subscribers already.
Yep.
Okay, so when they lost 2 million subscribers, I mean, is that showing? That should be telling you something that we lost 2 million subscribers, but we so doggone cocky. We don't want to put. They got like third-party exclusives, but they don't even want to put on their Game Pass. I mean, if they don't want to put their main exclusive on there, fine. But there's no reason. There is no reason they should not be putting the third-party exclusives on their Game Pass. I mean, Stray did good, but hell, Stray is not really all that great to me. I mean, just a cat game. Everybody want to turn around and talk about it, being good, but I had never heard anything about it being that good anyway.
I'll say this. I'll say this about Stray. At least it's something different from Sony, and I think that alone kind of gave it a boost because every other Sony game's the same shit. A third-person story-driven game where the protagonists don't shut the fuck up, right? And at least a cat can't talk. So
Yeah,
so you could play a game without the cat telling you what to do every 3 seconds.
right. But let me ask you this though: outside of Stray,
Mhm.
what other good exclusives do they have? Not a damn one.
Well, like I said earlier, I actually enjoyed Spider Man. I thought that was a good superhero game. But I keep saying, but this is how I classify Spider Man. Tuck. I thought Spider Man was a good game. I just don't think it's the best fucking superhero game ever, and no other game should try. Oh, but it's not Spider Man. I hate that mentality because I don't think Spider Man is that level good. I just thought it was fun. Everything else has been just boring bullshit to me. It's
Well,
telling that my
yeah.
my favorite game that I've bought on the PlayStation 5 so far was God of War 3 remastered, and that's a PlayStation 3 game. And that's my favorite PlayStation game is the old God of War game from 2010, over a
Oh
decade
yeah,
ago.
that's before they stood doing all this damn changing around and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now, with that said, I did pick up one game from Black Friday that I'm gonna end up trying on PlayStation. It's called Valkyrie Elysium. The graphics aren't the best, but it looks like it has a fast-paced combat. So fingers crossed I didn't waste my money. But if I did, man, I'm going scorch earth on that game like I did Horizon Forbidden Entertainment.
I mean, man, with all that being said, dude, I mean, I think Sony just in trouble, man. I mean, they don't want to lose, dude. They don't want to lose a dime of that money. They
Yeah.
don't want to lose a dime of that money because they know. Because don't get me wrong, I know some of these developers that they have on their thing
Hmm.
might be giving them free games and all that stuff,
Hmm.
but man, they ain't doing all that stuff for free. I mean, they're gonna charge Sony some money because developers. I mean, at the end of the doggone day, these developers still got to pay their bills at the end of the month.
Yeah, yeah.
They still got to pay their bills.
Oh
So they
yeah.
might, huh?
Oh no, I'm agreeing with you.
So, they still got to pay their bills at the end of the month. They still got to turn out feed their families and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, they can go ahead and do this with Sony and all that stuff all they want to, but man, Sony's a troll, man. I mean, they talk a good game. They talk about how many systems they got, but we know they really don't have that many systems out there. They don't got no 25 million. I mean, hell, they were sitting what 2 months ago? They were sitting at 20.
21.
At 21 million, then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
Microsoft,
yeah. I mean, the whole 25 million. I was actually just making. I don't know actually know how much what they be saying. But Sony every few months they come and say that they broke sales records, this and that.
right?
And with them, hey, yeah, we're going to talk about the Black Friday sales in a minute, channel. So stay tuned. Look, I just want
Oh
to finish.
yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. After I finish this discussion with Tuck, we're gonna talk about some Black Fridays because
Yeah.
I did way more Black Friday shopping than I expected. But yeah, Tuck, like I was saying, man, every once in a while, Sony just come out, they just throw numbers out there, and people don't like to dig deeper on the what the numbers are, but I do, I do. That's why it's called the Illuminate Truth for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna tell you the funniest thing about the whole daggone thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Microsoft bring out their numbers. They finally brought out their numbers for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody, and they said they're not that far away. They wasn't that far behind PlayStation.
Last time they released numbers, it was like 18 million for this generation of consoles. It was not far behind from Sony at all.
Not far behind at all.
And that's not counting the Black Friday sales.
But that's when they were sitting at 20 million, right?
Yep.
But all of a sudden, when Sony Xbox numbers came out, then Lord behold, here come PlayStation. 25 million.
Yep.
25 million. I said, no, ain't no 25 million. You still sitting at, dude, nobody. Unlimited, let me tell you the truth about this whole daggone thing. Listen, they went up on their prices all the way across the United States, United States, okay? Mm-hmm. They went up on their doggone prices all over the world.
Right.
Okay? Canada, the damn thing, I don't know how much it costs, and I don't know how much it cost then in Canada before they went on the prices. But I know when they went up on the prices, I know they jacked that doggone system up.
Yeah.
So
the price increased.
How much the price on there the one in Canada?
The price. First of all, prices went up $50 in every region but the U.S.
So, and you don't think that ain't gonna hurt people? That's gonna hurt people big time. I mean, here go Xbox. It went down the holiday season.
Yep.
And man, dude, I mean, to me, I think
first of all, I went to Best Buy earlier today, Tuck, and them Xbox Series S's were everywhere, so they're gonna sell like hotcakes this holiday, and so and they're like $250. Some places as low as what $230, $240. On the Xbox store. On the Xbox Series S, it's not only $250, it comes with a free headset.
Right.
So for anybody who's looking for a next gen console, you get a free headset if you get it from the Xbox.com website.
And that headset is good, y'all.
It's
good.
Yep.
You can't beat it. I mean, you can't beat it at all.
Yeah. And while we're on the topic of Black Friday, and Channel brought it up, you picking up anything?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, let me see. I might pick up a couple of games in Black Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know which games they're gonna be.
Right.
Because I know one dog. Well, I think you know what I think it might be. It might be that let me see. That one that had them three. They have four. They have 4 games in one, and it's like that mystery. I forgot the name of it. And it just came out. All 4 just came out. I think they're like for $39.
Oh, nice.
So 30, I think it's like $39 or $40. So
yeah,
I might because I like those mystery type games. Where you can kind of see about a mystery and all that stuff, and kind of figure it out and try to make people survive.
Yeah.
Stuff. And that Alan Wake remastered.
Yeah, that was $15.
I might get that for 15.
Yeah, I picked that up. I picked up Alan Wake Remastered for that price too. Another game that's $15 is The Medium. The Medium. That's $15 as well.
Oh, The Medium is $15?
Yes, it is. Yep. It's $15. Here's a shocking one. Deathloop is $20 right now.
Deathloop is $20. And I think Cyberpunk's like 29.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's on sale as well.
So,
And
but I'm waiting for Cyberpunk to be on the Game Pass pretty damn soon. They've been on the market for a long damn time.
yeah, yeah. And Don's Light, he said, I finally picked up Saints Row 2022 on Black Friday. Game is uh it's a game. Yes. Hey, Don's Light, I'm glad you said that. Tuck, you don't mind me addressing this comment real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Saints Row is on sale, so if you're interested, pick it up. And I've been saying since day one, Don's Light, that the game is fun, and I thought that it was overly hated, man. I like a lot of people are saying it's one of the worst games ever played, one of the worst games of the year. I personally disagree. I found the game extremely fun, and it was kind of cool rebuilding up the Saints Row group. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you enjoying it as well, man. I think it's a very fun game that's overly hated for I don't know for reasons. Battlefield is $10 according to channel. Yeah. Now, and here's the funny thing, channel. I actually like Battlefield more than I like Call of Duty because if you ever see my collections, I own all the Battlefield games. But I did. But the last one, the last one I picked up extremely. Like people don't realize that last Battlefield game, it was even cheaper. Some earlier this year when it was like $4. I kid you not, it was like $4 physically at some retailers at one point. So yeah, Battlefield for $10. If you're interested, go ahead and pick it up. But yeah, man, this I gotta say, Tuck, I ended up buying a lot more games than I expected to, way more than I expected to. And one game that I do want to talk about that I bought, Tuck, is Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Spinoff.
How was that?
It, I am surprised about how excellent I'm finding the game, man. That game is fun. Oh my god, that game is so fun. It is so ridiculously. It's a ridiculous over the top game, right? And it has this gorgeous cell shaded graphics, and it is just the epitome of fun. I bought it. I bought it when the Xbox sales. I bought it digitally when the Xbox sales first went live, and I was like, you know what? Let me give this game a try. And then now I can't put it down. That game it surprised the hell out of me by how good Tiny Tina's Wonderland is. $35 for anybody willing to get it, and I believe $35 the Xbox Series X version 2 for if you're on the next gen console. So anybody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe I believe you got Xbox One version that one's cheaper, and then the X Series X version is $35 right now.
And hey, no, tell channel, a
Mhm.
channel. Let me tell you right now, Battlefield, the last Battlefield,
Mhm.
it will be on the Game Pass next month.
Oh, thank you for reminding me, Tuck. Tuck is absolutely right, man. Tuck is absolutely right. Battlefield is coming to Game Pass. It's coming to Game Pass next month.
So, man, dude, the way I see it, man, this holiday season, uh, let me see. I think Hebot was telling me that he went to Best Buy early this morning,
Uh huh.
and there was a bundle
Mm-hmm.
for the Xbox Series.
Mm-hmm.
I think X, and the bundle was like for $600. It comes with a controller.
Oh, in Halo, right?
Huh?
Is a controller in Halo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw that. I think I saw that.
And that was like $600, and he said it
Mm-hmm.
sold out.
Yeah,
He said
yeah,
it's
yeah.
already sold out.
Yeah. If you're trying to get the big boys, those $500 Xbox Series X, and hell, even the PS5, you better jump on them as soon as you see it, man, because they gonna be out instantly. Because I did not see any Xbox Series X's personally when I went today, but to be
Right.
fair, I went in the afternoon. I got off work at 3 today, so I went in the afternoon, and yeah, they were gone. But I'm not in the market for a Series X anyway, so it's no big deal for me personally. But I know a lot of people are still trying to get their hands on these next gen consoles.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. But I tell you right now, man, hey, it's just laughable how these Sony ponies, man, they being real quiet now, man.
Mm-hmm.
They being real quiet. They don't know what the hell's going on. People's over there telling me. I had my friend over there telling me that. Well, people talking about that. Why should Sony go for the 10-year agreement? I said, dude, what more the hell do y'all want? Xbox is not gonna give y'all life. Not gonna give you a lifetime.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because Zenny DBZ here is saying it's crazy how Microsoft trying to give Sony 10 years of Call of Duty, but Sony's letting Destiny stay on Xbox forever. Now, that's called a surface level argument where technically Zenny's right, but it ignores context. And why is context important? Because Microsoft doesn't have a deal with Destiny where they get an exclusive content and they can't put and they don't have any deals with Bungie that says Destiny can't be put on PlayStation services, Zenny. And that's what the crux of this fight it's not just that Microsoft is going to take Call of Duty away from Sony. They said time and they've been saying since January that they're not going to do that. What it is though is that Microsoft is not paying $70 billion to not be able to put Call of Duty on Game Pass, a game company they own on a servers they own, and then reap no benefits because Sony wants to keep their current deal forever. That's just not going to happen. And that context, Zenny DBZ is why what you said is technically true on the surface, but it's just not correct.
No, it's not correct at all. And that's the hardest thing to believe because they got these damn people around here thinking that they made an agreement with Activision to keep it off the Game Pass before Microsoft even bought it. I said, like, how the heck can you turn around and do that?
Right.
I mean, come on. I mean, then all of a sudden they up and sell. They want to sell it, but all of a sudden you're gonna try and tell the people, oh well, Activision. We talked to Activision, and they told us that we did a deal with them, so they won't be putting on the Game Pass forever.
Right.
I said, okay, you know what? It's like this. If they wasn't for selling, yes, I would believe it. But since they for sale, and Microsoft was willing to buy them, oh hell, shit, all bets off.
Yeah.
All bets off. So in other words, if Sony did make that agreement, all bets off. When I buy the company.
Yeah, exactly.
That deal's off the table.
Yeah, and Channel here said, let's see the console sales after Black Friday. Hey, remember, Xbox Series S was the best-selling console last Black Friday, and I remember seeing stuff like it only sold because nobody wanted it. Oh, it was hilarious. Zenny DBC said, so the 10-year is just exclusive content. Yeah, exclusive content and stuff like Call of Duty can't be put on Game Pass, and Microsoft just isn't gonna let that fly. After they said earlier today, Zenny, they're willing to work with Sony on this Call of Duty stuff. It's just that the demands Sony are making on their end, they're just not going to budge on, and that's the crux of it. It's not about taking Call of Duty away from PlayStation or Sony. That was actually probably never going to happen realistically. But it is about the other stuff. Zinc, hey Zinc, if you want to join, let me know, and I could send you a link real quick. But I'm glad you made it nonetheless.
I want Elder Zink in here. Elder Zink.
Yeah, I'd love if he'd be able to join, man. So let me know, man. I could shoot you a link. Don's Light said, I saw a comment earlier that said Sony is like the kid on the playground that always brags about their stuff, but then throws a fit when someone else comes with something better. Yeah, that's not a bad analogy, Don. That's not a bad analogy at all, man.
No, that's a fair statement right there about them.
Yeah.
My Lord, that's a fair statement. But you know what? Getting back to this, about this 3.7 million they didn't sold and everything. You know what? Sony got to be disappointed. Right. Sony got to be disappointed because, like I said, if you get over 250 million PS4s out there, you got allegedly 25 million. Oh, it is a failure.
Whoa, hold on. You're forgetting something there, Tuck. The game's also playable on PS4 that has 120 million consoles.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did mention up the PS4, 250 million, isn't it?
It's 100. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they
I
say 250 million. I don't know what Sony. Sony be telling all kind of lies. So I mean, the way I see it like this, it's a failure, and you
Mhm.
know what they're gonna do. You know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do this thing for the next 4 years.
Mhm.
But they ain't gonna turn around and have full price of the game. And they're gonna bundle the game with the system so
Right.
they can sell it, so they can make sure it's selling. But we know how that goes too.
Right.
It's a bundle. It is not, and the price of the game is just. I mean, it's just gonna go to bundle. So
Right. You know what? I'm actually be contrarian for once. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him God of War selling 3.5 million in their first week. I'm gonna give it to them. I'm gonna be nice. It's the holiday spirit. You
I'm
know.
not.
I know you not. I know you not. I know
I'm
you
not
not.
gonna be nice to him at all. That's a failure in my
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah. But all jokes aside, let me address Zink here. He said can't make it tonight. That's all right, man. I hope you sit back and enjoy the show. Sit back and enjoy. Well, Zink said, "What did I miss?" Oh, we were talking about some Black Friday sales, of course, and we're also talking about Microsoft offering Sony a 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, and Sony turning it down. And a big reason why they're turning down, as we know, is because they're ridiculous demands, and they want it to last forever, which is it's just not going to happen. And other Zinc asking what failed, and Tuck was saying that God of War sold 3.5 million copies in its first week, and he's saying that's a failure because it doesn't match the amount of consoles they sold, you know. And that's why I was being contrarian for a second there, Zink, saying, I'm gonna give it to them. I'm gonna be nice. Let them have it because they don't have many wins these days anymore. They haven't had many wins this generation, if you ask me.
I ain't
But
giving no win at all. Damn it. Fuck 'em.
yeah, Tuck ain't in the holiday spirit. All right,
Not
so
with
so
King. I'm not.
he ain't budging.
I
He
ain't
ain't
budging.
budging.
I ain't budging on PlayStation at all.
I'm
All we,
channeling I'm channeling my inner Phil Spencer this holiday season. I'm being Mr. Nice Guy to Sony. Tuck said, screw that. He ain't doing none of that.
I ain't doing none of it.
Hey,
Shit,
what's up?
damn.
What's up? Google Poll.
After the week when God of War came out, we had to go through all this stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's a great game. No, it's a
yeah.
game. It's not a great game. It's a good game.
why can't Xbox have a game like this?
Man,
Oh man, this stuff is hilarious. All right,
man,
listen, folks. If you're not having fun with the gaming community, you ain't doing it right, man. You got to laugh at
I
this
ain't,
stuff.
I ain't having fun with them at all. I can't stand them.
Oh
Don't like
man,
them. Never will like them.
yeah. Hey, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
Shit, I wish some pony would come up in this doggone thing. I'll tear their asses up.
Yeah.
Tear them all up like it ain't nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing that don't make no sense out of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Unlimited
Mm-hmm.
is that people, they sit around here talking about PlayStation like it's a god.
They talk about
PlayStation
PlayStation
is
like what?
not, huh?
What'd you say, Tuck?
They think that this PlayStation is a god. That's all you hear people talk about. Oh,
Right.
God of War this, God of War that, God of War this, God of War that. And I said, my son, he got a PS4 and he got a PS5. And he even said himself, he said, Dad, if people spending $10 on the PS5 version, they wasting their money.
Hey,
He
and to
said they
that,
wasting their money.
And to that, I say, let them listen, Tuck. I'm not going to sit here and tell people what to spend their money on. If they want to pay, they want to drop $70 on a PS4 game. Be my guest. I'm beyond the point. See, that's where I'm at with this, Tuck. I'm beyond the point of ever telling these dudes what to spend their money on,
Right.
because Xbox already won. You know, And then next summer, when the Activision deal goes through, they're going to have another meltdown. We're going to be sitting here talking about it, laughing about it, having a good time. Because I don't know about you, Tuck, but for me, they are never, ever, ever going to interrupt my enjoyment of gaming.
No, 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 they're not. No, they're not. And then especially when all them damn heavy hitters come out for Xbox next year, man, dude, let me tell you, it's gonna be a sad day for them
Right.
because, like Jim Ryan said, straight up, like he said, straight up, they're not gonna have that many exclusives year in and year out like they used to
Oh, great point. Great point. Great
because
point.
they're not making any money. And like I said, I'm
And
gonna say
not
it.
not well, and not only that, let's not forget game development is more and more and more expensive, and Sony can't keep paying, can't keep making these $100 million plus budgeted games, and and can't keep rich these games with budgets that are like $100+ million, and then only 10% of the audience is buying it. That just that's just not feasible business anymore.
Well, I like this, and you just brought up a good point because just think about it. How much money they make off of Call of Duty every year?
It's what 17% of their overall revenue, I believe.
Okay, so you talk about 70% of their revenue, and that's what they doing to paying that the paying for these damn market these damn games. That's what they taking their money to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, these people's not gonna. I mean, they might put some of these games on their free for their system and all that stuff, but they're not gonna turn around and do it all the way. I mean, because like I said, they gotta play. They gotta feed their families too.
Yep.
I mean, it's a sad thing, but tell you the truth, I mean, Sony put themselves in this dilemma. They had a lot of games
Mm-hmm.
that they could have done. They could have brought back when they was prospering, but nobody tell them to go and do that sale process crap, which we know that was a
Oh
bunch
yeah, that hurt them. That hurt them so
that
much.
hurt them so bad right there. I mean, the TVs, they sort of bring their TVs down now because they gotta do something.
Yeah.
They gotta do something now, but shit is a little bit too late for that. Hell, I saw Visual TV, not Visual, but I saw a TCL. Is it TCL or LT?
It's
Is it TCL?
TCL. It's TCL.
Okay, it's TCL. Should they have a 65-inch
Mm-hmm.
on sale for like two something?
Yeah.
Shit, I'm like, damn, come on now. I mean, you can't get no better than that. I don't give a care what kind. They don't even have the best resolution for me. You talking about but if you in today, it's like I was trying to call you the other day and tell you the
Mm-hmm.
other day that TCL. No, that was Samsung had
Mm-hmm.
a one with 120 megahertz for like 900 some odd dollars,
Yep.
and it was a 65-inch.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
not
I
bad.
saw it. I saw it.
That's not that's not bad. I mean, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and if you don't mind, let me address the comments real quick.
go ahead.
Uh, Google Post said Horizon Forbidden West and Gran Turismo 7 had bad sales. The gaming press is like, no big deal. Yeah, listen, you could always tell when a game doesn't sell for Sony because listen, the Tuck is out here saying God of War sold 3.5 million in its first week, and that's because Sony's putting that out there because they're proud of that. Sony had to combine the sales of all their first party games in their report earlier and hasn't said a word about any of those games that got dusted by Elden Ring. Zink says 17% in reference to Call of Duty's revenue to Sony. I mean to PlayStation. Google Post said there's a reason Square is shrinking. Even Sony can't afford to buy Square. Yes, Square. You know what? Since they sold their Western devs, I'm not heartbroken over it too much.
No, I'm not here.
Outside of the general fact that I don't like people losing their jobs in general. I don't care where you live. I don't like hearing that stuff. That's the closest to sympathy I have. But their higher ups who are running the company to the ground, just they could fuck off. You know, the way that they treat Xbox already as an Xbox fan just rubs me the wrong way.
I mean, especially how they, especially like you said,
uh-huh.
especially how they, how they did Microsoft when Microsoft helped them put
Tomb Raider
back on the face.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
You're absolutely right, Tuck.
You look at everything that Xbox they didn't have Cuphead out. Cuphead they didn't screw them. They didn't have the people who made Titanfall.
Mm-hmm.
Look what they did. They helped them build that game. They went to Sony first. Sony wanted to make it out of a handheld, and they said no, we ain't gonna go through that. So they went to Microsoft. Microsoft looked at it. They gave money. They helped them get the game underway and everything. What happened? They went on there and they sold it to EA. So no, and then you see what happened to the second Titanfall. It wasn't no good at all because you had to share the servers with Sony.
Yeah,
and that's the reason why that game didn't do no good.
Yeah, not only that, the way that they handled Titanfall 2 was was not done well. For example, I remember they put out a tweet showing a PlayStation copy of the version, and a lot of Xbox fans were like, "Hold on, we supported," because remember, Titanfall 2 had over 10 million sales at one point on the Xbox One and 360. Right. And Xbox fans like, hold on, we supported this game, and you're out here trying to pimp out to the PlayStation community. And so what ended up happening with Titanfall 2 is that although people who played it they absolutely loved that campaign. A lot of people listen. The PlayStation fans didn't buy it because they saw it as Xbox crap, and the Xbox fans didn't buy it because they saw it as EA and the devs trying to placate the Sony. So
right.
That was just a bad job done altogether. For what otherwise, from my understanding, a good game.
Because if Sony would have, because EA would have went with Microsoft dedicated servers instead of trying to go that peer-to-peer crap, it would have been a success.
Yeah,
it would have been a success. But no, they had to satisfy Sony. I mean, I'm like, come on, dog. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, I hadn't even heard anything from them. Who made that game? Who made that damn Titanfall game?
Was it Respawn or was it?
It was Respawn.
Yeah,
haven't heard from them. Haven't heard nothing from them.
No. They made that Star Wars. They made that Star Wars game. Star Wars. What was it called? It's on EA Play too. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That's what they ended up making.
Yeah. Okay. They made that. Okay. They made it. So, but outside of that, hell, that's been a shit. At least 4 years now.
Yeah. Came out about 3 years ago.
So, I mean, we hadn't even heard. I mean, I'm hoping that they're making another one. I think they're making another one right now.
Yeah. They're making a Star Wars Jedi 2.
Yeah. So hoping that they do good on that too. But
yeah. Hey, let me address Jay Khan's comment here. He said, "What's up, fellas? I got my Black Friday purchase delivered today. I broke down and bought a 55 LG C2. Now I can utilize every feature of the Series X." Jay Khan, my brother, he got an OLED TV. That's what the C2 is, and that OLED is a monster, man. So hey, I ain't mad at you. Enjoy that TV. Enjoy every feature of that TV, man. Because them OLEDs, them OLEDs are gorgeous. I listen. I went to Best Buy, and I was looking at the TVs, and I know TVs aren't TV mode, so it's not always a full representation of how it's going to look at home. But still, them OLEDs were blowing me away to the point that I couldn't pull a trigger on getting the TV I wanted. Because I was really going to get the Samsung. Hold on, let me pull up the TV I was originally going to get. What was it? It was a Samsung TV that I was really going to get, and then when I was looking at all the OLEDs. And some of them are at a good price too. I was like, you know what? I might just hold off a little longer and get me the OLED. I might go ahead and just and drop the money on that, man. I'm not gonna lie. He said Respawn made Apex. That's right. They made that Apex Legends game that's also popular.
Right, and that was good too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jake Con said best $1,400 I spent. My dude, enjoy that TV, my brother. I am not mad at you at all. So sometimes you gotta spend money to enjoy it. And
enjoy
and,
it.
and for
Yeah,
my thing is like if you could afford it, be my guest. You know what I'm saying? Just don't put yourself in a hole where you can't afford rent. Which I believe I'm pretty sure Jay Con got his shit together. So he got that he got the TV he wanted, and I'm proud of you, my dude, because them OLEDs are for real. Them OLEDs are so good, Tuck. It even stopped me from buying the TV that I originally planned on getting, and I'm still trying to find it
and
here on the Best Buy side. Yeah, the people who took because my brother has an OLED, right? And I remember he has the LGC one that came out last year, I believe. And I remember him showing me, and the TV was amazing. But it's been a while since I've been to his place to see it. But
right.
now after seeing him again, oof, I might have to I might have to go ahead and drop 1,400 on that TV as well. We'll see, we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't mind getting high end products. I'm one of them people. I believe with tech, you get what you pay for,
yeah.
and I don't mind spending a little more. Where I draw the line at, I'm not paying $2,000 for a fucking TV though.
Oh
That's
hell no.
just too much for me. Louis
Yeah.
Frag said the war has. Hey, what's up, Louis Frag, man? How are you?
Well, one thing about it, I can't complain at all because
Mm-hmm.
the TLC that I got in the bedroom,
Uh huh.
I mean that's an OLED. Man,
Oh,
that's
okay.
and it's like the last of the 8 series because TLC don't even make that TV no more.
Right, right, right. Oh,
And I mean,
okay. Y-
well, I'm blessed. I mean, because shit, man, I got what? Let me see, I got 65, 65, 65.
mhm.
I got three 65 inches and one 75 inch.
Oh, you hear that? People Tuck living a good life out there in Oklahoma.
Well, I'm not gonna say all that. I mean, hey, man, I took my time on buying these TVs, boy. These TVs, it's a lot of money,
Yeah.
but hey, I invested in them,
Hmm.
and so far they holding up. I mean, I
Right.
think
Yeah.
the Visual that I got the man cave was like
Uh-huh.
5, and I
Hmm.
think the other Visual was like 6,
Hmm.
and I think this let's see, the TLC is the newest one,
Yeah.
and I think the LG, oh, the LG is up there. It's up there,
Right.
but it's still hanging in there and all that stuff because I had a Samsung,
Hmm.
and that's when I was like moving in this house, and my
Right.
credit wasn't all that good, so I went to cons, and after
Oh,
that,
okay.
man, I said okay. After that, I never did go to cons again because cons, that name is for real. When they say
Mhm.
cons,
They con you, huh?
they con you, boy.
Oh shit.
So yeah, man. So and I'm, man, dude. I mean, what this stuff boiled down to, man, is this. Uh, the only thing that I'm gonna say that Sony needs to do is,
Mhm.
just drop your panties and get ready to feel, get ready for a can of grease. Hey, and just take it because when Microsoft takes it from you, and y'all want to be so damn ignorant and not doing this thing because regulators are going to be able to do so much. They
Right.
can't do that much more.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, man. Regulators aren't like the dang police of this stuff, man. They just making sure no antitrust laws are being broken and stuff like that.
Right,
That's literally it. That's pretty much the crux of their job. They just making sure that Microsoft ain't a literal monopoly like Twitter pretends it is. That's it.
right, and that's what it's all about. I mean, and eventually they ain't gonna be able to stop you for long. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Listen, this deal's gonna go through for Xbox fans. Listen, that's why I tell Xbox fans just be patient. Enjoy the roller coaster that we're seeing, man. Enjoy the fact that for the first time we're really getting Sony's true thoughts of this gaming world and not the smoke and mirrors they put out there. But Google Poll here said you should be able to find a 55-inch OLED below 1,000. Well, for me, Google. Poe, I'm looking for a 65 inch specifically, and the reason why I'm doing 65 inch is for me personally. That's the best. That's the best viewing distance and all that other stuff. I've had a 55-inch TV, and I ended up giving it away to my mom because it was just too small for me, man. I couldn't see shit when I was trying to gaming, and the way and look, Tuck, the way I game, man, I kick back on the couch. I don't do, I don't. Some people have like a monitor, and maybe they sit close. I don't sit close to my TV. I don't sit close at all, man. I kick back on the couch and I play my games. That's how I do it, man.
Right,
That's the unlimited way of doing it, man. Don's Light
right.
says Sony fighting so hard for COD that they're about to turn into actual war zone. Yeah, and they're gonna be losing that war too. And Zinc said,
Yeah,
yes, watching Sony panic is excellent. Yeah, man, because this is the first time that we're really getting the innards of how they actually feel. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the cocky Sony of the PlayStation 4 era that was doing stuff like this is how you play used games was the same Sony that fast forward 8 years later is now scared of its own shadow and is scared of losing literally just one franchise. And I had this on screen that I want to read out. This is what Phil Spencer said, right? He said the idea that we would write a contract that says the word forever in it, I think is a little bit silly. But to make a long-term commitment that Sony would be comfortable with, regulators would be comfortable with, I have no issue with that. And I think that sentence or that statement, Tuck, sums up Phil Spencer's philosophy. They want regular. I think they more. I think they want regulators comfortable with more than Sony, so this shit could pass and be over with.
right.
But he's just saying Sony would be comfortable because you listen when you're in his position, you can't just speak your mind because when you speak your mind, you lose jobs in today's, especially in today's climate, where if you say the wrong thing, people be outraged over it. So he can't be like, man, fuck Sony. Like I have a feeling Phil kind of feels that way because he gets asked the same question every damn week. But this where he's saying, I'm okay with a long term contract that regulators would be cool with. I believe him, and I'm okay with that because all that's going to happen is that it doesn't matter if it's a 3 year contract or a 10 year contract. Tuck, a contract is going to end, and
Right.
once it ends, Microsoft has all the power, and that's what this comes down to, and that's what makes Sony's side of it so silly is that Sony doesn't have power to make these weird demands, and Microsoft, rightfully so, should not and will not budge on such. Listen, nobody. There's no football player, Tuck, who has a lifetime contract, right, with the NFL team, right? Tom Brady doesn't have a lifetime contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His contract ends next year, and he's considered one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. So Sony has no power in this dynamic here, and it's just silly to me that they think that they have all right to turn down a 10-year agreement when they should be kissing Xbox feet for getting anything.
Yeah, yeah, they should. But you know what? They are so stubborn and they so into their ways. And it's
Hmm.
just pathetic. I had never seen nothing. I had never seen nothing like this. I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this.
Yes, and sorry to cut you off there, but I think that's important to mention what you just said, and that's why I was saying earlier for anybody who wasn't here at the time, all this stuff that we're dealing with, Tuck, is actually it's normal. It's just all regulators gotta make sure no laws are broken, and companies gotta make sure that whatever they're buying goes through. And
Right.
the only reason why this is new to us, Tuck, because this is the first time in our lives we've seen a console maker buy publishers, and it's such a new experience that we're now getting the nitty gritty of how all this works, and 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 so this is our first time, for example, seeing Sony talk to courts and getting those documentations out in the public of how they really feel, and same with Microsoft. And that's kind of what makes it off. That's why I keep telling people to enjoy the ride and like other Zinc said, I try to listen to every show talking about Activision. It's hilarious, and this deal is happening no matter what. And he is 1,000,000% spot
Yeah.
on. I had a comment earlier, Tuck, say that they were 50-50, right? They were 50-50 on if it was going to pass through, and I told him no, it's going to pass, man. It's going to pass because this deal isn't breaking any laws. You do people not realize that stuff like a monopoly? Do you know how hard it is to have a monopoly these days? It, especially Microsoft. Microsoft is never going to do that because in the '90s they already sued. They already went to court over stuff like that. So they
Right.
of any company is definitely knows what a monopoly is and isn't. And I'm sorry, Twitter experts, you don't know what you're talking about here. Like Zink said, laws must be broken to stop Activision. And you know what? Hell, Xbox getting Activision is actually going to stop them from breaking laws because last I checked, the reason why Activision wanted to sell is because the people that ran it such a horrible toxic culture there that a woman literally killed herself under their umbrella. You know, they had
Right.
a bunch of other acquisitions. So this is just going to be a benefit for everybody when Microsoft steps in, get their own people in, get people like Bobby Kotick out, and fix Activision, Blizzard, and King and all those nonsense assholes who cause a bad work environment.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey Dia, thank you for joining us. I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Yeah, man, we're just doing a quick show here, which I say quick show, but we're like an hour and a half in, Tuck, right? But I'm just doing a show
Right.
here tonight after this news came out. I thought it would make good discussion. Brother Tuck was able to join me, and so we're just enjoying the show. I hope you guys enjoy as much as we do.
Yeah, because I mean everything that we talk about is fact, y'all.
Yes.
These are facts.
Yep.
Uh,
As I always say, everything we talk about is a Google search away.
right. And then I don't and then listen, I mean, when Sony come out with their little what you call their little VR headset thing, what they gonna call
Mhm.
it, it ain't gonna drop worth nothing. They gonna be putting
Oh
that
no,
sale after the first week because
Tuck,
ain't
Tuck,
nobody gonna buy it.
Tuck. The PlayStation VR 2 is $550. And here's a kicker. You need a PlayStation 5 to run it. Two, if you get the one bundled with Horizon, it's $600. Three, in Canada, the damn thing is $820, Tuck. The PlayStation VR 2 is dead on arrival. It is a money pit. It is a flop. And I don't even know. I don't know why Sony's even putting it out there. Maybe they think that they could get whatever money they can from the R&D or something. I have no clue because the fact that they're putting out a peripheral that's more expensive than a console that they already can't seem to produce enough of is another baffling decision. Why I came to the conclusion long ago, Tuck, that Sony's just a poorly run company. All fingers point to them being poorly run, right? Because their game, first of all, they have $100 million AAA games that only have one way of making money, and that's its initial point of sales. They do no true innovation. And sorry, putting a rumble feature in the controller isn't a innovation, fanboys. They have no true innovation. We're behind on the subscription market, so they're behind on the content wars that Xbox is dominating them in. They're behind on the cloud technology that Xbox is dominating them in. What good does Sony truly do, Tuck? And then I'm gonna address the comments.
What do they do good?
Yeah.
Shit, not a damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a damn thing.
Exactly, Tuck.
Because
And
it's like when I had my PS3, I'm over here thinking that they're gonna turn around and put this thing like live.
mhm,
I mean, when they had it at home,
right.
at home wasn't nothing like live. I'm like, why did I buy this stuff? I mean, why did I even buy the machine if they're gonna promise you that it's gonna be like live?
Right.
And
Yeah, and
it never did fulfill that dream at all.
yeah, and,
Yeah,
and look, sorry there, Tuck.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just gonna piggyback off what you're saying and talking about how Sony has no true innovation and they waste money. How do they waste the money? Sony is literally paying for games to be off Game Pass instead of putting that money towards I don't know your own fucking games, right? And our brother Hebot is in. And before I introduce Hebot, ladies and gentlemen, let me get through the chat real quick, Tuck. Then we could introduce Hebot. So Lewis
Okay,
Frag here said, going to court is an instant defeat for Sony. It's going to be a bloodbath next year. Keep that info coming. These ignorant fools will learn the hard way. Yep. And Microsoft lawyers are just getting all everything documented, Lewis. And Zink said 820. Yep, Zink 820. Hey, you the one who showed me that. Daya said, "Listen, Microsoft just cornered Sony. Sony, the CMA, and any EU regulators have to accept it. Why? Because Microsoft can then say we try to offer Sony the deal and they denied us. Yep. Hey, Daya, perfect content.
Oh, that is a perfect. That is perfect.
Absolutely perfect. That summed up everything just wonderfully. What a fantastic comment, Daya. Thank you.
I mean, it sounds like to me that Microsoft is trying to feed into the egos
Mm-hmm.
and the commission and all of them. You know, they looking at it now. They cannot deny this.
Yeah, no. That's why
they looking into this and they
Mhm.
still like, okay, Sony, you know, what can we do? They
Right.
offer you a 10-year agreement.
And they turned it down.
They're not going to take it off your system.
And they turned it down.
And they turned it down. So what more do you want? And I mean, we all know what they want, but that ain't gonna happen.
Agreed. And Dawn's Light here said, "I'm a big Kinect fan. Microsoft had the decency to price their peripheral at half the price of the console, pricing a peripheral higher than a console, and then requiring the console is unprecedented." Yeah, exactly. That's why PlayStation VR 2 is dead. And Hebot, you there, my friend?
Yo, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Hebot, the world's most powerful gamer? I know it's late, man, but thank you for joining us on this Tuesday.
Hey, wait a second. What is it? Unlimited? Mm-hmm. I want everybody to know this man Hebot made a video talked about all this that was going on with Sony right now.
Yep.
Go and watch his video.
Yep.
I don't know I forgot what video it was, but he went over to explain everything about their Game Pass, how they need to make it look attractive, what they can do. And I mean, I actually got mad at Hebot because I'm like, damn, Hebot. Darn, I hope Sony's not listening to you. Damn. They make too much doggone good common sense. But I forgot, they don't got no common sense. Nope. But Hebot, I'm going to tell you right now, before you even get started, all your videos that you made here the last couple of weeks, talking about Sony in their Game Pass, talking about their VR and all that good stuff. Yeah. Hey, all I gotta say is this: y'all need to go and listen to common sense. All these, even these Xbox people that don't even agree with some things that we say. Go and listen to Hebot, go and listen to us, and leave all them other zeros behind because they're all about their propaganda and everything. We're the real people. Tell you that right now. And I'm done.
Hey, that's excellent stuff, man. And look, Hebot deserves all the praise, but Hebot, man, in case you probably know, but I want to get your thoughts here. Microsoft offered Sony a 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, and Sony turned it down. And then in a statement, and then this statement here, Phil Spencer himself said that, look, I'm paraphrasing here. Look, we don't mind working with Sony. We don't mind making Sony and the regulators comfortable. But we're not going to make a long-term forever. We're not going to put a contract that lasts forever. That's just crazy. And nor should it, because the contracts is stuff like Call of Duty can't be on Game Pass and all the benefits Sony reap. And Microsoft isn't dropping $70 billion for that. So, Hebot, I want to get your thoughts on all this stuff, man. I want to get your thoughts on everything. And then after that, we're gonna address the comments and call it a night. Because unfortunately, Hebot, we've been here for about an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah. That's, I mean, I saw it yesterday, and thank you. I saw it yesterday. You're welcome. And then I just be home like probably an hour. Yeah, about an hour. Yeah. And then I did a discount double check because I was like, what? 10 years?
Yeah.
I was like, damn, like I really didn't think they would do even that far of an extension.
Right.
Because to be honest, 10 years is a long time. You don't know if the franchise is going to still hold that type of stability for 10 more years, but it's already been going strong for like 20, right?
Yep.
People are eventually, it's going to come to a point where they're going to be exhausted, right? with the IP at some point, because it's going to be hard to keep refreshing it. You see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
It's hard to refresh games, even when they come out 3 or 4 years from each other, like Halo and Gears. And let's say, even in this case, God of War, right?
Right.
Imagine trying to refresh a game and a license. Even though a lot of it has to do with the multiplayer, uh, but with campaign with a game every year. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I just think Microsoft threw this number to be safe, right? So that if it something goes down, Sony can never say that it wasn't a generous offer, right? But I really do think, like, imagine the gall of a company, right, that has nowhere near the amount of money, right? Just it doesn't matter if they have all the perception in the world with casuals. Bottom line is they don't have the type of money to fight Microsoft, right? In the fashion or in the way that a Fortune 500 company could, right? Because they're nowhere near that, right? So imagine the goal and the audacity that they think that they have that much power and that much clout and that much pull that they can be like, yeah, 10 years now, you bug it. Because the real reason they're not accepting it, we all know what it is. They don't want them to put Call of Duty on Game Pass.
Yep.
Because it's not going to matter if they give him another extension for 10 years. At the end of the day, you still have to buy that game every year for the 70, the 60, and maybe whatever highest price hike goes up in the next 10 years on Sony in order to play it, right?
Right.
With Game Pass, even if Game Pass was $25 a month every month right now, right? Let's just say, right? And it jumped up another $10 from 15. It is still a better and much more attractive proposition for a player that likes Call of Duty versus going to buy it every year for the 70 or $80. You see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
And they know that. They're not stupid. Jim Ryan knows that shit. Sony knows that shit. Once they put that shit on Game Pass, and then the fact that since they own it, they can put all the maps there first and have them exclusive there first for 6, 7, 3 months, a year, and then Sony can get them the way Sony pretty much played Microsoft out, right? But no, they want parity. How you have to go to ask for parity for something that you're not going to own? Because once Microsoft own it, you have no right to tell them to do shit. Microsoft can be like, okay, you know what? We changed our mind. We're not going to do shit no more. We're going to take it off your platform. If they really wanted to do that. You see what I'm saying? Right. Although, Phil's not going to do that because he's not a man of his word. He's not going to go behind his word. But he has to say what he has to say and stay face until everything goes through.
Yep.
Because long term, at the end of the day, nobody's going to know how it's really going to play out, right?
Right.
Because these deals falter, agreements falter all the time. That's just the nature of business, period. Especially if they don't like the way Sony keeps playing games. But I will tell you this. This is a really, really, really fine line that Sony's playing. Because now that they're like, oh, no, we don't want that. It's not enough. They're going to get to a position and put themselves in a position where if shit goes through and Microsoft be like, you know what, enough. We did what we had to do. We gave you a more than a fair deal, and you just keep on. And then they screw themselves over long term. Because imagine if they don't let it go through, Activision's not going to want to do deals with them no more. Because they just blew a $70 billion fucking goddamn deal for them.
Yep.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
So Activision's going to be pissed off. All the developers in the industry are going to be like, yo, these motherfuckers just screwed them over $70 billion. What do you think they could do with anybody else? They're not going to be happy about it. You know what I mean? Even, people like Take-Two that do the Grand Theft Auto, which is probably the biggest selling game of all time right now in gaming, right?
Yeah.
Next to Minecraft, right? So they're going to be like, fuck this. It's going to give a lot of bad taste and sour taste in a lot of the industry's mouth, developers and publishers. So it's going to piss them the fuck off, right? And they're going to think twice about doing deals with Sony in long term in the future. So it's going to hurt them regardless whether they think they're going to pull it off momentarily or temporarily or long term, because you can't, like who the fuck Do you think you are? That's the type of shit you pull when you know that you can guarantee Activision and the developers of Call of Duty to make that money up that they're trying to get from them right now on a year-to-year basis for the next 10 years, that they can make up that 70 billion. That's the only way that they will be okay with that, right? Because if Sony can promise to make them or get them that much money in their pocket, and you know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they can't do
70
that.
billion, shit, $70 billion is no fucking joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no fucking way they're gonna be able to compensate Activision or the developers of Call of Duty, even in 10 years for that amount of money. They're just not. You know what I mean? If the biggest deal they did was Insomniac, and that was 235 million, what does that tell you?
Yeah. So Sony can't keep up with Microsoft, and then
What does that tell you? That was their biggest bullshit. The biggest deal was with Bungie, and that was
right. 3.6.
and that was what 3 billion, right?
3.6 billion.
Right, but it was with the ultimatum that they stay multi-plat because even Bungie themselves know that that's not going to make up long term for all the money they make in other platforms.
Exactly.
So they're like, okay, we'll let you own us as a developer, but we want to stay multi-plat. That's why Bungie put that ultimatum, because they know long term 3.3 billion ain't cutting it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and let me ask you this, Hebot.
Yeah.
Is this the most arrogant Sony's ever been?
I haven't seen this much arrogance since they fucking came in with the PS2. And this is about the same type of arrogance, but not as crude and rude, shrewd, crude and rude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me say this. I agree with you. Because I almost forgot about that. That PS2 era, that was ridiculous. This is up there in arrogance level. This is more entitled than the PS2 era, though.
I think so. Absolutely.
Because at least with the PS2 era, they had something crazy like 90% of the console market. It was some crazy stat like that.
And they were the only ones in the market because people always say, well, Sony sold the most that generation. Okay, let's go back. Dreamcast died off in a year and a half. But like this, Dreamcast died off before the PS2 even came out.
Yeah.
And then you didn't see, what was it, the GameCube, right?
Yeah, the GameCube.
You didn't see that, or was it 64?
Until 2001.
Well, no, it was 64, as a matter of fact, right?
Yeah, no,
I'm saying the PS2?
I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying the development of the Dolphin, that was Dolphin. The development of the GameCube was called the Dolphin until like 2001.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you didn't see the GameCube until like what, 3 years later, maybe 4, or close to 4.
Yeah.
And even the GameCube, we all know, wasn't successful for Nintendo.
Right.
It only sold like 23, 35 million units.
It sold less than the original Xbox.
That's what I'm trying to say. So there was no competition. And I keep always stressing this out to people. The PS2 era was the most successful for them because there was no competition. It was just PS2. That's it. I was stuck playing my Dreamcast until they announced the OG Xbox. Because the OG Xbox came out, but remember, the OG Xbox was the new kid of the block.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they didn't have a lot of big heavy hitters until time went on, and the OG Xbox was only out in the market maybe 3 years, and that console only sold 23 million units altogether, right? Lifetime.
Yeah.
So 23 million units versus 140, 127 million units that PS2 sold. That tells you right there. That's 100 million units difference of how many people were actually playing or even came close to playing on an Xbox. That's why today you'll see a bunch of people be like, damn, I didn't realize how good the OG Xbox was. Shit, this console was dope.
Yep.
Or even with the Dreamcast, they do that shit. Because they were too busy playing PlayStation and missed out on all the shit that they were that they had on Dreamcast before it came out, and even on the OG, that was way better than what PlayStation was offering as far as quality or as far as better gameplay value, gameplay, better features, quality of the hardware itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Hebot. I hear the police sirens out there, man. How you gonna be doing a podcast while moon's shining, man?
I told you they're gonna catch me eventually. I told you.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news: Hebot escaping the police and doing the podcast at the
I'm
same
on the
time.
rundown right now. I'm on the run. I'm on the run. Yeah, I'm on the run. No, I'm by my home trying to find parking, and it looks like there was a fire in one of the buildings or something. So anyway, yeah, for sure. So so you gotta think about it logically, not with feelings, because me, you, even Cook, right? Others, Zink, all our brothers, Sega Man, E-Rock, 100, all of us are big Xbox fans, right?
Yeah.
And we've been saying a big Xbox fans since they came out, since their inception. Mm-hmm. But we're still smart enough and logical enough to say, but as far as sales goes, PS2 bust the shit out of the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
The OG. It was not even it wasn't even close. It was night and day. That's why they rushed out for the next generation and came out first, because they wanted to beat them at their own game. And it was the smartest thing they ever did.
Yeah, exactly.
Once Dreamcast, once 360 came out, it was over. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
It was over. Because in the American, here, domestically, the Dreamcast destroyed the PS3. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It murdered it. The 360. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me. It murdered it. And no, but it's long term at the end of the generation, it caught up itself. Yeah, because the PS3 was fucking $189 by the end of the generation, and it started at $600. The 360 was still selling the core for $250 the year before the Xbox One came out. Put that in perspective. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how powerful of a mindset the 360 had, how big it was. That people were still buying the core at $250 at the end of the generation when we were about to have a new console launch. Yep. Because remember, the whole thing was that when the Xbox One came out on PS4, they already were dated hardware because the 360 and PS3 era and generation took too long.
Yeah, that was a long.
Because the cycle is usually 6 to 7 years, and that console took almost 9 years.
Yeah. I remember, because I remember so many people like, oh, I'm ready for new consoles. When that
for real. And we were still getting fucking bangers like Halo 4, like fucking Gears Judgment, like like fucking God of War Ascension. We were still getting big games.
Yeah.
Even that, Last of Us, for Christ's sake, that's the game they got right before the PS4.
Yep.
It was literally that fucking what? Summer. E3, right?
Yeah. It was that E3 came out that summer or fall.
That E3, yeah. So it's like is very indicative of the whole, picture long term. If you really look at it, but motherfucker be like, yeah, but it caught up. Yeah, it caught up because it sold at diminished returns, meaning they didn't make no profit. Yeah, they sold hardware, but they were making no profit. They were just trying to scrape the barrel to make enough some type of money to move on to the next generation. That's why as soon as PS4 came out, they said, "Oh, we're not making PS3 anymore." They completely scrapped it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just like Microsoft did this generation. As soon as the DS came out, the X, they're like, oh, like maybe 6 months in.
They stopped it almost immediately. They stopped.
Yeah, like 6 months, 8 months in. Oh, we're not making no more Xbox One. You remember?
Yep.
That's why it became so hard to find an Xbox.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't even find the OG. I mean, the Xbox One, the first one, the original.
Yeah. And
that's how quick they stopped that shit. So again,
funny you say that, because Sony went to their old trick of keeping the PlayStation 4 alive as long as possible, like they did the PS2.
Because the PS4 still was moving the most for them, regardless. And plus, the shortage of chips, the COVID, they couldn't manufacture PS5 quick enough, which makes perfect sense, right? Because they didn't pay AMD like Microsoft did to prioritize chip manufacturing. Yep. Microsoft had to pay a big amount of money to have that done for the Xbox Series X to be readily or more readily available than the PS5. That wasn't by accident. No. That was a game plan. You see what I'm saying?
None of these moves are by accident.
Exactly. So but when I saw that Unlimited, I'll tell you, I was like, the actual gall to think that you got it like that, where you could be like, yo, this ain't good enough, cuz. Like, you know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's like, a level. That's a level of entitlement that is just hard to process, especially.
It's just beyond. It's beyond believable. It's like, what? Are you fucking retarded?
That's why I keep saying. That's why I keep saying everything Sony doesn't add up, because on one hand they go to regulators and say we can't compete with Call of Duty. On the other hand, they should be kissing Microsoft's feet for that 10-year deal, and that's not good enough. Well, this is what's going to happen when that deal passes next summer. And they don't come to an official agreement between Sony and Microsoft. Microsoft could just pull everything. Could just say, okay, that's cool. Let whatever deal they have currently expire, and Sony could fend for themselves. Could they deserve it for how they acted? But
I was trying to share with you, because look, think about it. This one more thing before you head out.
Yeah.
If you allow me, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Think about this, right? Sony's most expensive game to this point has to be the God of War series, right?
Yeah.
Because of all the mocap, all the actors, you know, the high quality production value. You know what I'm saying? The marketing, all that, right?
Right.
And they probably spent at most, if I had to take a guess, $100 million.
Oh, easily.
Right? And that's their most expensive game, right? Meanwhile, Microsoft, with Halo Infinite alone, the production was about $500 million, according to what they were saying.
Right.
And you see that Halo is still, even though it was that much money, you still can tell it's an ongoing thing. It's not finished. They have more things they want to offer. So if Microsoft's biggest game is 4 times more expensive than Sony's, right? What the hell makes you think that they can afford to pay ongoing things like Call of Duty for Activision? And what makes you think that they actually paying quadrillions of millions of dollars for exclusivity, for those time exclusivities that they're doing for 1 year or 2 years? For Final Fantasy VII, for example, or for the Last Ronin, the most they probably paid out was probably like 20, 25, maybe 30 mil, right?
Yeah.
For the 2-year exclusivity, that's the most. Again, that's the most. And with Square Enix, I wouldn't doubt it was even less, because Square Enix basically sucks their nutsacks every time for free.
Yep.
They practically give them shit. Oh, here, take it, because they feel like they owe them something. Ever since they fucking paid to save them back in the late 80s, and that's why Sony owned 19% of their shares, and told them you could never put none of the games until that fucking deal ended just last generation. Right. So they probably feel mentally, we still owe Sony. They're our baby. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And plus they're Japanese, so they stick together, obviously. So, you know, all that don't, because people be like, yeah, but you crazy. I mean, Sony's paying millions, hundreds of millions to get these exclusives. Like, no, they're not. They are not paying that much. The only reason these people are taking those deals is because, 1, they're Japanese, and 2, majority of them, right? And 2, because the perception still is, oh, it's the leading platform, so that means people must be buying games.
They're making the same mistake a lot of them made last generation, where they thought because Sony has the most sales, that mean that they're going to be most people are going to buy from them. When my thing has always been, if you're a third-party publisher, I would never, ever, ever cut out the millions and millions of gamers on Xbox and Nintendo, if my game can run on Nintendo.
Where you walking from?
You know what I'm saying? I would never cut that player base off, but they keep doing it, and it keeps producing bad results. But with that said, I want to address the comments, and then we're going to call it a night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot of comments to address, though.
Yeah, it's nice to read them. You know, the guys take the time. The guys take the time to put them out there. You know, it's nice to read them and give them, and show them appreciation.
And it's not 6 of us here, so I could make time for the chat when it's like 2 or 3 of us here. So
right.
So yeah, Dea here said Microsoft didn't have to offer it, the 10-year deal, but they don't care because they always want to keep COD over on Sony. Microsoft is not offering anything that they weren't already prepared to. Yeah, absolutely, Dea. That is absolutely. Listen, as Phil said, listen. I truly believe that all they're doing is going to make the regulators happy, so this shit could go through. That's their only main goal right now with the Activision stuff. And Louis Frag said it's a checkmate right now after hearing this. Yep, absolutely. Deus said thank you. I see it too. Microsoft played 4D chess against Sony. Sony is just now realizing that they got cornered. It's hilarious to me that people think Microsoft capitulated. Yeah, exactly. Everything Microsoft has been doing has been the long game, and that's why I keep telling Xbox fans just sit back and enjoy the ride because we're going to win no matter what. Incline that offer.
They're just prolonging the process, but at the end of the day, they're not going to stop this deal.
No, come on. No.
And to be honest, they're just probably going to make it worse for themselves long term anyway.
Listen, Hebot, we now know stuff. Listen, thanks to Sony's stupidity through all this, we know that they have no confidence in their own games. How do you know that?
And we know things that we normally, as the audience, right, or as the gamer, that we normally would never even hear about.
Yeah.
Because of their arrogance and stupidity, they're basically exposing how bad it could be. Right. How bad the business practices can be from their part, right?
Yep. And Daya here says Sony just gave Microsoft their out. Now, no one will ever be able to say that Microsoft wasn't trying to work with Sony. Sony has their reputation. Yeah, Daya has been absolutely on fire with the comments.
Oh, always. Yeah,
and again, she's spot on here, man. Because listen, that's as much as we criticize Phil being nice. This is the benefit of doing the nice guy thing. Is that you always stuff like this. Microsoft can now say, "Hey, we tried." And then they did.
Right.
What can anybody say after the day?
Absolutely.
Because
there's not one person that could say down the road, "Oh, they never gave him a fair deal. They only give him 3 years." Yeah. Bullshit.
Yep.
Bullshit.
Yep.
10 years is more than an adequate deal. Beyond.
That's like 2 console generations.
Yes, sir. Or at least 1 console generation and a half, at least.
Yeah. And we're saying this 2 years into this one, so that's why I said 2 console generations.
Right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Zink says Sony will lose recurring profits what Call of Duty provides you. Of course, man. Nobody wants to lose 17% of their revenue, but they got no choice because they don't own it.
Yeah.
Listen, Sony. Sony, if you want to be the man in charge here, drop $70 billion. But you can't. It's not Microsoft's fault. I think Sony so badly Hebot wants the gaming world to see them as this victim here. It just doesn't work like that.
On top of showing their colors every time they do a new show, or every time there's an E3, or every time there's a Gamescom, they announce more games exclusive for 2 years that they don't even own and they never even funded.
Yes.
On top of showing that.
Yeah, exactly. And Google Post says Sony's in a lose-lose situation. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of which one is least bleeding. Yeah, man. He said the irony is that Google was about to buy Bethesda. That ushered Microsoft to go full throttle. So hilarious. Yeah. And look at where Google is now in the gaming space.
Look how quick.
Yeah.
Look how quick Google learned their lesson that just because you have money don't mean you can just come in, take control, or try to be a big dog without experience.
Spot on, Hebot. And they're far bigger than Sony. So Sony has no chance.
Yeah.
None. Daya said they're going to lose that anyway. Activision will not forget this. They won't be moving forward with Sony as they have been. Sony has burned too many bridges. Yep. Sony is doing that thing. I forgot how that phrase goes, and I always say it incorrectly. But it's something like you cut off your nose to spite your face. I think that's what they're doing, man. They're just they keep acting. They're trying to in one phase publicly. They're trying to act like this big dog that can compete with Microsoft. Then privately to these countries, they're trying to play victim, and neither adds up. You got to be you can't be a victim and also have your shit together.
That's why I said, brother Unlimited, that if let's just say for whatever reason the deal don't go through, you really think Activision's gonna be okay with Sony after they just fucking fucked their pockets up out of $70 billion? Nope. You must be crazy if you think that.
Absolutely crazy, man. And Google posted the games they showed today, multiplayer, MMO, games as a service games. I don't even know what games you're talking about there, Google. Lewis Fast said burning bridges leads to other big companies wanting no affiliations. So yeah, that's what Hebot was saying, Lewis. That's what Hebot was saying. Dea said nothing would stop Activision from working harder with Microsoft, deal or no deal. No one can force them. Sony is messing with their money. It becomes personal when you lose people their money. Hey, Dea, if there's a way to give somebody a Hall of Fame level status here, I would do that in a heartbeat because once again, you hit the nail on the head. No, listen, 98% of the people there was Activision was okay with this. 98 freaking percent. Nobody in their right mind would ever turn down $70 billion. And it's just crazy that Sony thinks that they could come in with no real standings, no real logical explanation, and try to muster this deal up. All they're doing at worst is stalling. Unfortunately, our brother Hebot dropped, but we're going to close the show after I catch up on comments anyway. Google posted that's a rude awakening is going to be painful. Yup. It's going to be brutal. Hey, you are all correct. Google here said, you know how Sony stabbed Sega in the back when Dreamcast was still alive? They paid for big BC exclusives to go to PS2. Yeah, they're dirty bastards. Yep, man. What they did during that era.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
Imagine if I stole $80 or $70 billion from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after I did that, I'm like, yo, Unlimited, don't worry, bro. I'm gonna pay you $2 billion this year.
I'd kill you, man.
Listen, you won't do it in front of me, but you'll secretly have me killed. And we know why I got killed. I got offed. Why? Because I just robbed you at a 70 bill and try to act like it was okay. And that we're still friends. Like, what the heck?
Man. So imagine how pissed Satya and Phil are right now. There, Jim. Look at what you do. You know what, Phil? I don't know how Phil isn't just annoyed being asked the same thing every single week, every single interview. What are you gonna do with Call of Duty? What are you gonna do with Call of Duty? And he's been answering the same way all year. What channel is Hebot on? Oh, Hebot. Just search Hebot on YouTube, and he Dashbot technically, and that and it should be the first channel you see. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe to Hebot. Excellent video as always. Hebot does videos. I sub to him. Yeah, man. Hebot's channels are fantastic. He's been doing it for like 10 years too. I'm glad you found it, Google.
Listen, I appreciate all the support and love. You don't have to, but if you do, thank you from the heart.
Yeah, that's how I feel too, man. That's why I like addressing comments when I can, because I love the support. I love that everybody
absolutely
to comment.
Without them, then what's the point, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna try to address every comment I can. And if the show drags on a little long, so be it. I'm thankful for you guys. Zinc said no. Sony had to make as much money as possible. That's why they're keeping the PlayStation 4. Yeah. And no matter how much money they make, it's never going to compete with Microsoft. And again, that's not Microsoft's problem. Dea said, Sony's like a spoiled child. The gaming industry is the mother who keeps spoiling the child. Microsoft is like the little brother who gets ignored. Sony's behavior is a disgrace. Yo, a great, fantastic analogy there, Dea, because you know what, Hebot, she brings up a good point, because every time Sony does anything, they just get coddled. Nobody ever has the guts. Listen, when Sony fans do stuff like threaten Lana Pierce with rape because God of War got delayed last year, Sony did not come out and reprimand them. Nobody ever comes out when Sony does all this nonsense and just say, Sony, stop being a fucking asshole, right? And so it puts out this, it makes stuff like this seem okay to not only Sony but their fans, and the stuff just drive people crazy. Mr. Kima had said,
and you saw that Phil said it right away. He said that Nintendo in no way, shape, or form has tried to interfere.
Oh, great point! Oh my god,
he said that, right?
Yeah,
that's him. That's him trying to say, "Yo, Nintendo, we cool." That's him trying to form more of an alliance with Nintendo.
Right.
I know Phil. Phil swear he's slick.
Yeah, that is a great point. I completely forgot about that Nintendo comment. I completely forgot. That is an excellent point, man. Oh yeah, Mr. Kima, thanks for joining. Mr. Kima has said the Federal Trade Commission should greenlight the deal in December. Hopefully, man. Look, the faster this stuff goes through, the faster we can move on.
Oh yeah, it's already getting tiresome. Talk about it.
Yeah.
And every day you win, that's all everybody keep talking. I'm like, God damn.
See listen, that's why
they talked about God of War for like 2 days, literally 3, and that was it.
What did I say?
Went back to Activision.
He bought. What did I say last week?
You said that right on the mic.
I told you, Xbox fans, give it a week. They're going to talk about God of War, and then next week, they back to talking about Xbox.
A week? It was literally 3 days.
Hey. Zeke said the Brazilian court documents told the real story. Yes, the Brazilian court documents to me was the best news we had all year because it just exposed everything. It exposed the mudslinging and everything, man. That was good stuff. Sony's going to have to
arrest always be on point with those things. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Louis Frag says Sony is going to have to rest their games once the deal's done. Game over. What games, Frag? What games? Sony doesn't have that prestigious roadmap he bought because we don't know what's coming next year.
Yeah, that's it. All they have is Spider-Man. That's not really theirs. That's still Marvel games.
Yeah, what games?
And Wolverine.
Listen, remember, remember at the end of 2016, after Gears 4 came out, and everybody's like, "Where's your roadmap, Xbox?" That's when the Xbox had no games that really blew up. So
but the Xbox had no game because they didn't have enough developers. That's why they started buying developers.
Yeah, exactly.
They said it. We got to build up developers so that we could have more internal, in-house, first-party games more frequently, so we don't have droughts. That's what Phil said right from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
And we knew this. We knew this because they only had 5 real, internal first-party studios.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. You're right.
So it made sense, but now that they have so many, Sony not gonna be able to even compete because, listen, once this roadmap starts hitting, you start seeing Redfall, Starfield, right? The Fables, the Perfect Darks, the Indiana Jones, the Contraband, the Perfect Darks, right? The Hellblades, the Avowals, all that stuff. That's like 12 games right there, or 10 games.
Yeah.
Sony has only announced Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Yep. Neither.
And that's the same developer doing the games is Insomniac.
Oh, that's right.
You're gonna tell me that Insomniac is gonna keep the quality level that people expect in 2 games working nonstop with a crunch, with no extra help, doing a game back to back?
No.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, bro. They're going to reach exhaustion point. Insomniac can't keep making those big AAA games that quality all the time for them without rest.
Yep. Hey, you're absolutely right.
Every developer needs rest. And we don't even know what Coalition is working on.
Yeah.
We know they're working on something because it's been almost 5 years since Gears 5.
Gears 5 came out in 2019.
So imagine.
I remember because that was my game of the year that year. So look, but and listen, Xbox system up in the best positions possible. Where Halo, Gears, and Forza are always going to be their big triple hitters, man. That's always going to be the big 3. But now, thanks to the Bethesda, Activision, Ninja Blade, and so on, they don't got to rely on them games.
Nope.
And so those games could take their time. We could get Gears 6 in 2020.
I didn't mention State of Decay 3.
Yeah,
and Coalition is working with them.
That's right. And let me get back to the comments here, if you don't mind. Mr. Kima said the Brazilian regulators got it right. Kima, not only were they right, they're the first ones getting it right. Remember, Saudi Arabia proved it already. It's going to pass. Again, nothing to worry about. I've seen a lot of doom and gloom on Twitter. Hebot from Xbox fans was saying it might be 50-50, it might be 55-45. No, it's 100% going to pass.
Yeah. Dude, they got 98% of the people that said, that it's okay.
Yeah, listen,
you think 2% is going to stop it? It's not happening.
Yeah, gaming
That's
world.
not happening.
All
they're doing is prolonging.
Exactly.
by next year, April, I say, I'll take a guess by April, it'll all be said and done.
Yeah, man, and I want the gaming world to understand this. Sony is not this powerful monster in gaming who could get in the way of this stuff. They're just not. Yeah. They're just whining because they're going to lose out on a lot of money that they're never going to be able to recoup. And
I have I really truly have a funny suspicion that a lot of the reason why they're trying to prolong it is to give themselves some time to keep doing those third-party deal exclusives.
Right. Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And
that's why they're doing that. Because as long as Microsoft is tied up with this bullshit, they can't make other acquisitions.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and we know they're going to do more acquisition because they also
they said it already. They already said it.
They answered the acquisition question almost as much as the damn Call of Duty question. They said they're going to be another article next month. Microsoft going to purchase more studios after acquisition.
Yeah, I think in every interview Phil did, he said, "No, we're not done buying. We're going to continue to acquire." He said it.
Yeah, and Google here said the FTC has more issues with the FTX fiasco. Yeah. Hey, man, that's a whole different story. But that FTX thing is a fiasco. It was a scam from day one and all this other stuff. But again, that's just another great point, Google, because it just points to the fact that, listen, like I said, these governing bodies, they're just regulators, and regulators aren't the damn justice. You know, they aren't the final justice on this stuff. You know what I'm saying, Hebot? They're just regulators. All right.
Absolutely.
People act like the CMA in the UK is like the word of law over there. No.
Right.
All they're doing is making sure. All they do is make sure they're not breaking trust laws. That's it. All right. They're not these big bag boogeymen who they got to worry about.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If they got away with any dirty scheme, the furthest they could probably get away with is that in Europe, right? Because you've seen this before, that in Europe, Microsoft's Xbox would not be able to put Call of Duty on Game Pass.
Right.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
If they got away with anything, that would probably be the only probable thing that I can see maybe happening, where it'll be 100% full-on parity when it comes to European market with the gamers in Europe.
Right. And only
you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
but as far as China, Japan, America, Canada, Microsoft's going to give them the big fuck you. It's not going to happen, dude. It's not going to happen.
I'm with you 1,000,000%. Day here said Unlimited is a profit in reference to what I said last week. Yeah, man. Listen, Daya, this stuff is predictable. Every time Sony releases a game, the gaming world loses their mind for a week, and then they go back to talk about Xbox.
Daya, you need to start buying stock because I guarantee you're going to be rich.
Yeah. Zink was like, "What games? We caught Lewis flagging a lot." Yeah, man. Am I wrong, Zink? Am I wrong? Show me the list of games Sony's got coming. Show me. Give me a roadmap of Sony's games. Spider-Man.
Oh my God, Unlimited. I don't know if you talked about it, but I know you've been on so long. But maybe we could do that for when we do the Exile. But funny how that dude came out and talked about how the VMAs, right, the Video Game Awards, are so they're so corrupted in the way they're designed that they're not really fair.
Yeah.
How long have I been saying this? How long did we talk about this?
Save that for Sunday, because I actually did not talk about that at all.
And that was something I was like, what?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
That's a great point. Zink said that's okay. Those 5 studios produce more money making games than Sony studios. That's an absolute fact, Zink, and that's why they could afford the Ninja Theory.
Zink, you're terrible. You're fucking terrible. You always start in trouble, even in the damn comment section. Every time.
Zink knows his stuff, man. Zink is a He knows how to get your nerve. Yeah, man. He knows he's a perfect fit for shows like The Unlimited Truth and The Exiled and The Week.
Well, that's why we love the brother.
Yeah, man.
That's why we love the brother. And now Tuck is not falling too far behind, because Tuck is another one.
Oh yeah. Tuck beyond
this game, little monster over here.
Tuck is the reason why this show is happening today. Yeah, and Louis Frag said, I was on about their time exclusive. They have no first party games except Spider-Man 2. Yeah, exactly. And even with their time exclusive, it's just Final Fantasy 16, a series that I remind you peaked in 1997.
And I'm gonna be honest with you with that comment too, Louis Frag. To be honest with you, if there comes a point where Disney feels that the money intake is not enough and they want to make more money, they'll can easily be like, you know what, we want the game to go multi-plat. And Sony can't say no, because the only tie that Sony has is that their developer, one of the developers is making the game, but they don't own the video game rights. They own the movie rights to Spider-Man.
The MLB.
They don't even own the merchandising rights, which also belongs to Disney. So at this point, it's just Disney being nice. Okay, just leave it in your console, and they feel they're making enough income. But if that revenue doesn't make enough for them long term with other games in the future, don't be surprised if you'll see them come to Xbox as like the Spider-Man Ultimate Edition. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because Disney already has EA making an Iron Man game and a Captain America and Black Panther game.
And Wonder Woman. We forgot about Wonder Woman. Remember they're making Wonder Woman?
That's Wonder Woman's DC, though. She's in WB games.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But I'm still hyped with Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Oh, listen. I'm telling you right now, that Wonder Woman game is going to be fantastic because the developers of Shadow of Mordor are making it. And I think they're going to use that Nemesis system, too, in that game.
Okay.
Lewis said, "A crying lion Ryan won't stop until we put his resignation." Hey man, Sony going through different heads of their company ain't nothing new, so I wouldn't be surprised about that. He's also, I've been saying that in a lot of podcast chat, and people were like, "Spider-Man, yeah," but listen, we already know Spider-Man is not this world breaker game. We know this because every metric just proves it. Every metric just proves that it's another superhero game, and you're talking to somebody who likes Spider-Man. You know, I love.
No, this is why you're starting to hear already ramblings. They're already starting saying, "Oh my God!" An insider saying that Spider-Man is we're going for so much realistic that it's going to be out of this world. That's why you're starting to hear that. But then, when you think about it logically, it's like, really, it's still a cross-gen game, but it's going to be out of this world. It's not a PS5 only game.
Really?
So how much and how hard can you really push it? Wow. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I didn't know that it was still going to be on PS4 too, but
it's still everything so far is crossing.
Even listen, Hebot. Even if it was PS5 only, in the Spider-Man games, you look for backpacks and catch pigeons. All right, these games are not that mind-blowingly fucking great. Google Post said they're going to keep making more remakes, remasters, greatest hits, anything.
Oh, that's really cool. They're going to do, look at Unlimited. They're going to do a 360 controller style that you can use on your Xbox Series X.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that, man. That looks awesome. I saw that.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, right. Like they did with the Duke.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw that earlier.
That's fucking cool. You know that's going to sell. That's another $100 billion for Microsoft.
You know me and my controllers, man. So I'm a me, man. I got like 50 fucking controllers. So I'm in. Oh yeah.
It's going to be another $100 billion from Microsoft on controllers alone.
Yep.
Because people love that 360, boy.
Yeah, man. The 360 was so popular, they weren't even jumping to the Xbox One until years after release.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The Xbox One had to be like $300 before a lot of them 360 folks finally jumped shit. Like, damn, man.
Oh, hell, you ain't lying. Shit. I think it was just probably till maybe the tail end of last gen that most 360 players migrated over, but it took that long. It took a while.
It took them forever, man.
Mm-hmm.
and they stopped. It
took them a while.
They stopped making 360 games after like 2016, 2017, and they still weren't jumping ship.
Oh yeah,
that console.
Oh yeah, sure.
That thing was like $300 before they did. And Google says Shadow. System. And Mr. Kima says Sony has not announced any Black Friday deals. No, they got a Black Friday sale. It's just not all that good. Because again, I have a PlayStation 5, so I've seen it. It's just not all that.
Dude, I've been seeing fucking bundles. They had a bundle in Best Buy, no lie. 3 of them. One was a controller. It came with a game, Halo Infinite, I think it was.
Yeah.
And 3 months of Game Pass, right?
Right.
It was only like, I think it was like $6.98. Shit sold out.
Damn.
Then they did another one where it was the controller, and an Xbox Series X controller, an extra controller, the console, and the 1 terabyte memory card.
Oh wow.
That was like 753. That shit sold out.
Damn.
Then they had another one. It was the controller, 300 Game Pass, the 1 terabyte memory card, the console, and that was 798 or 789, and it sold out.
Yo, Best Buy had the best. Best Buy won this Black Friday. Their deals has been amazing.
They had some pretty nice bundles, bro. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's some wild bundles. Lewis said, "I already bought a Series S for my sister this Black
And they
Friday."
all sold out, brother. All of them, and it's not even Black Friday yet.
Yeah, no surprise there. But
so whatever extra stock they're gonna get for Black Friday, and then somebody posted that on Amazon on Black Friday, the S is gonna be $189.
Wow, that thing's gonna be.
Know that shit gonna sell out.
And look, Louis Frag.
It's gonna be gone.
And look, Louis Frag already said he got his sister the Series S for the Black Friday sale. And Zink's asking, what are Sony Black Friday's deals? They're just there's nothing on the consoles, of course, because they refuse to lower the price on consoles because that's just Sony being Sony. But for the games, it's just stuff like $40 for Horizon Forbidden Entertainment and all that. But with that, we're going to call it a night. Absolutely excellent show. For Shaw just threw together literally last second. I'm glad you and Tuck were able to make it. Tuck, you still there? Tuck might not be there, but that's okay.
He's probably asleep.
Yeah, check out the lines.
He might be asleep.
Yeah, that's cool. He worked today, so I don't blame him. Hey, check out the Lines Den podcast.
His first day.
Yeah, and check out Tuck's show. And Hebot, man, let them know where they could find you.
Absolutely. You can find me right here with my brother Unlimited. And the other brothers, you can find me on my channel on Hebot, on YouTube. Any social media platform where everybody's hating on me on a constant. And you can find me on the Exile podcast every 2 Sundays of the month. My brother Sega Man on the Alpha podcast on Saturdays, usually. Now we're doing also the Wrecking Crew Friday nights with Sega Forever. And then sometimes you'll catch me from time to time with my brother 100 on the Xbox Got No Games podcast. I think that's what it's called still. But he's always changing up the title, so sometimes I'm saying the wrong thing. Yeah, and of course, when I can, I'll do We Got Next, which has been a while. It's been a hiatus, but I promise it'll be soon. It'll be soon.
Yeah. Of course. And I want to thank the chat. Daya, special shout out to you because you were downright fantastic today. Your comments just eye-opening, excellent. Jay Khan was fantastic. Other Zink is always bringing the fire. Louis Frag was also great. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully you guys are like me and will be off Thursday and Friday too. So enjoy your holidays, everyone. Take care. Take it easy. Enjoy your time with the family, and we are out.
Yes, sir.